WORD Greenville, WORD Spartanburg, WFBC FM HD3.
An Odyssey station.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, powered by The Score. Carolina Panthers football placing safety Justin Burris on IR. That means he is going to miss at least the next 3 weeks. He suffered a groin injury in the win against the Texans this past weekend. In a corresponding move, the team has signed center Sam Tecklenburg to the 53-man roster. The 3-0 Panthers match up against the Cowboys coming up on Sunday. Clemson football wide receiver Justin Ross has been added to the watch list for the Mayo Clinic Comeback Player of the Year award following surgery and a year of recovery. This year, he is leading the team with 22 receptions, 3 touchdowns through.
So we do have a interview right here, right?
App today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps.
I'm seeing Jarinko. Is that
with
the
your
wrong
ESPN
hour?
Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
Do you want to say greatest of all time so far? That's fine. You can do that.
Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, ... so far. That's fine. I'll agree with that.
If you say so far, people get offended and get angry because
hopefully that gets to it pretty soon.
You don't understand. This is the greatest of all time. He may be the greatest of your lifetime. That doesn't make him the greatest of all time.
I'm fine with that.
Unless, of course, the world ends in the next year or so, and then you may be right.
Floating through space, the last human being stares back down at the charred, crispy remains of what used to be planet Earth as his life systems repeatedly alarm him that he's running out of oxygen. He stares out the window at the giant ball of molten rock that used to be planet Earth, and he says to himself and no one else, Tom Brady was the greatest of all time.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
Congratulations to this week's ESPN Upstate Player of the Week, Demarius Foster of the Dorman Cavaliers. Foster had 29 carries on Friday for 269 yards and scored 5 touchdowns as the Cavaliers defeated Ridgeview 42-20. Again, congratulations to this week's ESPN Upstate Player of the Week, Demarius Foster.
I
can't wait.
Upstate High School Player of the Week. The gridiron coverage is at ESPNUpstate.com. Warning.
And check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
Well, today is the line of demarcation. Today is the day that I predicted 2 weeks ago will be the day that decides whether my overall positive rating as a fill-in host for Rob Brown continues or takes the veritable swan dive. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Scott. Good to be with you again, filling in for Rob, who is on vacation. I have been here since Monday. I will be here through Friday. We're inviting you to tune in anyway. And hopefully by the time it's all said and done, we will educate, we will entertain, and learn something we did not know. And when I say that, it usually starts in what I call the captain's chair. It starts with me, because as most people will tell you, there's a lot that I do not know. Hello, Lonzo. How are you?
Hello. I am also in that category. There's a lot that I don't know. If I'm the smartest guy in the room is in trouble.
Well, you remember that we had Brandon Bennett on when I filled in a couple of Fridays ago, and incidentally, he's going to be on in the very next segment. But Brandon said pretty much the exact same thing. I think it was his mama who told him that if you are the smartest member of your group that you run around with, I feel sorry for your group, and you need to get a new set of friends.
One thing about that group, though, they have a good time because they don't know any better.
Yeah, but see, then you're trending down the road, a dangerous path. I mean, that's like saying that Mo is the smart stooge. You know, do you really want to be the Mo of your group?
Mo was the most violent and got away with the most. So if I'm going to have to be a stooge, you're right. I'd still rather be Curly. Who wouldn't? And no one wants to be Larry. So, I mean, there's that.
No, I mean, just the hair alone, right? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, it's good to be back with you today. Our guest lineup today, as it stands right now, Brandon Bennett, the former Gamecock and Cincinnati Bengal running back, will make a return appearance with us in the very next segment and get his thoughts on the Gamecock offense that is struggling mightily under Shane Beamer so far. Top of the next hour, Larry Williams from TigerIllustrated.com will be with us, talk about teams that are struggling. He's a beat writer that covers the Clemson Tigers, and he'll be here to talk about their 2-2 start and what, if anything, is going to change in their offensive mode, which has been, I guess, in one sense, very offensive to Clemson fans. Larry, by the way, I've known him for a long time. For my money, the best on that beat. Third hour, Eric Jarinko, the general manager of the Greenville Drive, just completed the minor league baseball season in 2021. Did not have one in 2020. And I had an up-close and personal seat for all 60, technically 61 home games because of a game that was completed that had been started in another city. And there was a question of whether there would be any baseball played. And we got the entire schedule in. And we'll talk to Eric about that challenge. And then immediately following him in hour number 3, Charlie Cobb is the athletic director at Georgia State University. And he's also the twin brother of David Cobb, who is the color commentator who works with me on our Furman University football broadcast. Despite the fact that he's David's brother, Charlie, I'm bringing him on because Charlie is a member of the college football playoff committee, the group of people that will, at the end of the season, select the 4 teams that will play in the college football playoff. So we're going to talk that dynamic with a guy who will have a seat in the room helping make those decisions and making them from a non-Power 5 viewpoint. It's going to be very intriguing. That's coming up in hour number 3. As always, we have open phone time that will be throughout the entire show, 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. And the text line is open. That is, you send it to keyword ESPN to 71307. 71307. Now, Alonzo, at the risk of going down a road that I'm not sure I really want to spend a whole lot of time on, but I feel somewhat obligated to do so because I was unwittingly roped into the hot dog and mayonnaise discussion in the last couple of days via the text line. And I thought that the questions that were asked of me about those were somewhat they were very carefully worded to try to draw a certain type of response out of me, right? But I think we negotiated that very well. But here's mine. And I guess it's just a statement, and then it could potentially open up an entire can of worms. And I don't know if you guys have talked about this or not, but being from another part of the country and having lived in several parts of the country, I have lived in places, Lonzo, where the word barbecue has been both a noun and a verb. Here, obviously, when somebody says barbecue, they're thinking about the physical pulled pork, the sandwich, the pig. That is barbecue. Growing up in West Virginia, living in Ohio for a while, and in other various parts of the country, the word barbecue means you're going to grill out. Now, having been here for 22 years, almost 23, somebody says barbecue, I have been here long enough to have been indoctrinated that my first thought goes to pulled pork. It goes to the pig. But I'm just saying that I have been in parts of the country where the word has had different meanings. In other parts of the country, when people say barbecue, that means they're getting out the grill and they're fixing hamburgers and hot dogs. And I'm going to bet that there are people listening to the show now who have been involved in this hot dog and mayonnaise discussion that have lived in parts of the country where that was the case as well. To me, either way you use it, it's a win-win situation because you're going to end up getting some good food.
It is. It's a good word, and I agree. It can mean both, but to me, barbecue is beef. It's not pork or chicken. But I'm just fancier than a lot of people, I guess.
Well, and again, that can be depending upon which part of the country you're from. You know,
yeah, I had to figure out what the heck is brisket. I didn't know what brisket was when I came here. When someone said barbecue, I thought, barbecue beef. I never thought I didn't even know there was barbecue pork or barbecue chicken because I'd never had it before.
You do know that brisket is beef, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. I do understand that, but I had never heard the word before coming to South Carolina.
I got you. Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic, and I get the sense in just 2 days of being roped into this conversation that people are trying to use it to pull others apart. In other words, my hot dog is better than your hot dog. My mayonnaise is better than your mayonnaise. What I'm here to say is whether barbecue is the food you're eating or barbecue is what you're doing to prepare the food, you win either way.
Yeah, I agree. But, you don't hear people say, I'm going to a grilling. No, you say, I'm going to a barbecue.
In other parts of the country. Here they say, I'm going to grill out or I'm going to cook out. You very rarely, I don't think I've ever heard someone from the South say, I'm going to barbecue, meaning they're going to fix hamburgers and hot dogs or steaks on the grill, something like that.
Well, I hear tell down in Charleston, if you're going to a barbecue, you're going to a fancy place.
Well, it may be the case.
I've never been to Charleston, though. Like I said, I've heard tell.
You've heard tell. Okay,
Yes.
We'll have to get you to Charleston sometime because
no thanks.
It's a pretty unique city. So you have a Charleston bias, do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, you'll have to explain that to me sometime.
I work in radio. I can't afford Charleston.
Okay. So now we get to the crux of the matter. Where else can you have this much fun for no money, right?
And we have fun with it every day.
Yes, we do. Anyway, so I just thought I would kind of toss that into the hot dog and mayonnaise ring, the word barbecue. And it's dual meaning depending on where you are. But see, I'm a bring people together person. I am not a drive wedges between people type of guy. So again, my whole thing in this is eat your hot dog the way you want it. Eat, whatever brand of mayonnaise. I have my preferences. The word barbecue, regardless of how you use the word, you're going to win. You're simply going to win. And that's all I'm trying to say. Give peace a chance. Anyway.
I didn't look at the video. Did you throw up the peace sign when you said that?
I didn't. I am, however, wearing a shirt today before we'll get into some actual sports here in a minute. But I am wearing a shirt today that every time I wear it out in public, whether it's here or whether it's away from here, it never fails. 2 or 3 different people stop me to comment on the shirt. It is my WKRP in Cincinnati shirt. It's got the call letters and the microphone, and it says in Cincinnati at the bottom of it. One of the great, great television shows of all time.
Yeah, but are you Venus or are you Johnny?
It's a good question. I'm certainly not Les Nessman.
I've worked with a few of those.
Yeah, well, and my whole thing is that if anybody that has worked in the radio business, especially of a certain age, has worked at WKRP at one time or another in their life.
I will say this, Dan, there may be some herbs downstairs right now. Could be. Could be.
You know what? I don't know your office that well, so I'll just leave that up to you. But I'll say this, it would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if you had an Andy Travis running around there, and it definitely wouldn't surprise me if there was a Dr. Johnny Fever running around there. So
I am Andy Travis.
You are Andy Travis.
That would be me everywhere, fixing everything.
Okay. I was going to say it would have to be by actions, not by looks, right?
Oh, my hair is awesome. You haven't seen it lately.
You don't? Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
I'll have to take your word for it. Anyway, but let's talk some sports. I came across something here just before we went on the air. You know, we've been talking about, and the name, image, likeness has been a huge topic. Preceding the name, image, likeness, I don't know if you remember this or not, but back in 2015, a group of athletes from Northwestern University tried to unionize, claiming that they were employees of the university, and they went to the National Labor Relations Board for guidance on unionizing. And at that time, the National Labor Relations Board basically put off making any kind of ruling on their case. Well, that has changed. Story I saw just came up about a half an hour ago. Says that college at private institutions, and it says private, so I guess there's a line of demarcation between public and private schools, but it says college athletes at private institutions should be considered employees under the National Labor Relations Act, opening the door for athletes to unionize with protections from the National Labor Relations Board. This, according to the organization's general counsel, released in a memo on Wednesday. Their top attorney, the NLRB's top attorney, Jennifer Abruzzo, took that position. And in doing so, we could see a dramatic change in the relationship between college athletes at private institutions and the university, as athletes will now be subject to labor protections, even if, and here's the rub, even if they do not form a collective bargaining unit. So even if they don't have an official collective bargaining agreement as an operating union, they could still get protection from the National Labor Relations Board. And here is part of that memo. Says, quote, in short, the scholarship football players at issue in Northwestern University clearly satisfy the broad Section 2, Paragraph 3 definition of employee and the common law test. Therefore, the memo says, those football players and other similarly situated players at academic institutions should be protected by Section 7 when they act concertedly to speak out about their terms and conditions of employment or to self-organize, regardless of whether the board ultimately certifies a bargaining unit, unquote. Now, as I said, this replaces a decision that was made in 2015. It was actually a lack of decision when the NLRB failed to act on it. But according to this new memo, now the National Labor Relations Board is saying that athletes at private institutions should be considered employees, can organize, and even if they don't, are subject to labor protections by the NLRB. Now, we'll get into this a little deeper later on. But you talk about possible ramifications across the landscape of college athletics. You think the NIL has turned things on its ear? Turned the world upside down? Imagine now college athletes legally and with the full protection of the National Labor Relations Board being able to unionize because they have been classified, at least at private institutions, as employees. College athletics has already changed as we know it, and quite possibly is getting ready to become, in some ways, perhaps almost unrecognizable. We've got to get to a break. Brandon Bennett will join us when we come back, and then we'll circle back to this in a little bit. I'm Dan Scott, in for Rob Brown. ESPN Upstate. We'll talk with the former Gamecock and Bengals running back on the other side. Don't go away.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
So you finally made that decision to lose weight. Hey, that's the first step, deciding that you need to do something. And now you're trying to figure out, well, how do I do it? Well, let me tell you how to lose weight. Let me talk to you about the Health Dare. With the Health Dare, you're going to lose that weight or lose some of it in 30 days, guaranteed, or your money back. You're going to look good in 30 days. You're going to look great in 60 days. You're going to look phenomenal in 90 days. Now, the Health Dare, it's not a diet, it's a plan. It's a simple plan that anyone can do. And don't worry, you won't be hungry. You're going to be able to eat the food that's in your fridge, that's in your pantry. And they have all kinds of experts there with the Health Dare, including fashion consultants, because, one of the things is when you lose a lot of weight, you got to figure out when to buy clothes and what you should buy. And they can help you out with that. They can also help you out with buying groceries and so many other things. That's what the Health Dare does. And another cool thing about it, maybe you're someone who doesn't like to do things on your own. You realize you have a problem. You realize you need to fix it, but you want to bring somebody with you. Well, with the Health Dare, you can do that. It's buy one, get one free, which means you can bring in that buddy. You can bring in a relative. Bring in a spouse. You pay half, they pay half. You guys both get the program. You both are going to get healthy from a cellular level. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. You have the energy to face the day. And here's how you get started with the Health Dare. Just go to idareme.com. Fill out some information, and one of the Health Dare coaches will bring you in for a free consultation, get you on the way to losing that weight. And don't forget, it's buy one, get one free. Go to idareme.com today. And when you're there, make sure you tell them that Lonzo dared you.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, powered by The Score. The starting lineup is set for Sunday's Yellowwood 500 as NASCAR runs at Talladega. They use the qualifying metric to set the lineup. Denny Hamlin is going to start from the pole. He's going to be joined in the front row by Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney in row 2, Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. in row 3, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano in row 4, Kevin Harvick and William Byron in row 5, and then Alex Bowman and Christopher Bell in row number 6. The non-playoff drivers are slotted in after that. 2 more races to go before the playoff field is dropped by 4. The 4 drivers below the cut line right now: William Byron, Kevin Harvick, Alex Bowman, and Christopher Bell. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
High school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the scores, discussion, interviews, and more on the Saturday Morning Scramble, powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. There's the snap. It's reverse. Quay Meadows, right
Great
side.
Ball. Great
Touchdown, Quay Meadows. It is a one-score game.
Saturday Morning Scramble. ESPN Upstate. Everywhere on the Odyssey app. Powered by Ingles Market, official grocery store of the Saturday Morning Scramble.
By texting 484848, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Freshly. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at freshly.com/terms.
It's the Great American Dinner Race in this kitchen.
Bob?
With one of those meal service plans that come with portioned ingredients you have to prepare.
Hey, where's the broccoli?
And in the other kitchen.
How's it going? Jackson.
With Freshly, chef-prepared and fully cooked meals delivered to your door.
I'll have Freshly's peppercorn steak, sautéed carrots, and French green beans.
He puts it in the microwave. Bob is still assembling his ingredients.
It is just ringing.
Floppy. Ugh.
Jackson's delicious Freshly meal is ready to eat.
So good.
And Bob's meal?
Forget it. I'm ordering meals from Freshly.
Freshly chefs cook nutritious meals from delicious whole food ingredients and deliver them right to your door. And right now, get $40 off your first 2 weeks when you text HUNGRY to 484848. Text HUNGRY to 484848 for $40 off. Text HUNGRY to 484848.
If you are 18 years or older, use marijuana regularly, and are interested in cutting down, you may qualify for a research study at Behavioral Health Services of Pickens County. The study is testing an investigational medication to help cut down the use of marijuana. Evaluation and procedures are free of charge. Compensation up to $1,210
We still have 2 minutes.
is provided.
I'm
Strictly
gonna keep trying.
confidential if you are interested. Call 864-898-2992 or find us on Facebook.com/BHS Research DEPT. Sponsored by MUSC.
Hey, it's Bill Donovan from Breakaway Honda. School has started, football season is here, and who has any time to buy a new car? With the Breakaway Honda In and Out Without a Doubt buying program, it doesn't have to take the whole day. We will help you select a new Honda at the lowest possible price, give you the highest value for your trade, and provide you our best interest rates in the shortest possible time. Number one for a reason, you never have to settle for less than a Honda at Breakaway. We do what we say at Breakaway. 330 Woodruff Road or breakawayhonda.com.
Hey, this is Don with American Made Windows with good news. We're extending our Back to Cool special through September 30th. With cooler, wetter weather on the way, we're offering $50 off per window so your home will be ready. That's right, through September 30th only, get $50 off our already low price per window with the purchase and installation of 5 or more. Visit amwupstate.com or call 334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American made.
Can you pick winners? Well, then you can win cash. It's that simple. In the Rocket Mortgage Pro Football Pickup, just pick the most games right this week, and you can score $1,000. Just like that. No lineups, no spreads, no rosters, and a brand new game each week. The Rocket Mortgage Pro Football Pickup. It's totally free to play, so enter now by texting PICS to 20357. That's PICS to 20357.
This feature sponsored by Indeed. Hiring for an open job shouldn't morph into a full-time job. Indeed is the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Opinions wanted.
Well, opinions are like we'll say. Everybody has one.
Call 844-GSP-ESPN. Local sports talk on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Dan Scott in for Rob Brown again today and through the end of the week. It's been fun so far. As I said, kind of a recovering daily talk show host from many years ago to get back into the flow of doing, the single day guest hosting things are okay, but having to prepare for a full week, it's been a long time since I've done this. It's been fun. I hope you folks are enjoying it because I certainly am. Let's go to the celebrity guest line and welcome in our good friend Brandon Bennett, the former Gamecock and Cincinnati Bengals running back. Talk some college football here in this segment. Brandon, welcome back. Although I got to tell you, I was beginning to get a little worried. Our producer was trying to call you and couldn't get you. I thought you were going to be like the Gamecocks offense and not show up.
No, man, no. Bro, it's new coach. It's a new coach in here, man. I'm getting it right.
and just to be fair, like the Clemson offense too, it has been a struggle on both sides of things. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am blessed. Thank you very much. Let's talk about your Gamecocks a little bit. When you were on with me when I filled in on that Friday a couple of weeks ago, we talked about what Shane Beamer is doing there and how you like the energy that he's bringing to the program. But you admitted, and I think everybody knows this, that the talent level simply is not there right now to think about competing on a regular basis in a conference like the SEC. My question is, as bad as the offense has been, did you see this coming? Did you think that the offense would struggle as much as it has?
You know what? I did. And the reason why is that, I mean, if you look at it, man, we've not really had that one guy or two guys or whatever that really emerge as the go-to. You know what I mean? And now you're coming into a year where we had COVID, you had guys to leave, you had, it's just so much. A new coaching staff, him having to get coaches, him having to try to hurry up and learn what we had there and what to do with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I figured that we would definitely struggle with games. But talk about conference, man. Well, just the games that we're going to play, period, man, are going to be tough games every weekend. And now you don't have the 2s and the 3s that you're able to practice against either. You know what I mean? People don't understand, man, that if you don't have guys that are on the bench that can play, that you could go out there and really be one to whatever. It's going to be hard because now you're practicing against these guys and you're not getting better in practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
coaches love competition. They talk about that all the time when it comes to recruiting and building that depth and being able to do just what you said, get better in practice. We had a caller yesterday who was lamenting the fact that the offense has been too vanilla, that he was expecting them to be more wide open, to throw everything in the playbook this last weekend, and didn't see that at all, that it was a very, very basic vanilla playbook. My response to that was personnel, that you can only do so much with the personnel that you have. Am I on the right track with that?
Well, definitely, man, because the thing is that you gotta have, we drop a lot of balls, we miss a lot of blocks, you know, so you want to drop back and throw the ball. This is the thing too. This is what people have to realize too, is that you drop back and throw the ball, right? And we don't get a completion, you stop the clock. Now you give that other team more opportunities to score and do the things that they do on you. You know what I mean? So you're almost darn if you do, darn if you don't, because you want to sit back there and light it up, but you go 3 and out and you give these other teams time of possession, and now your defense is out there, and they're on the field way more than they want to be and more than they used to, and now they're struggling out there. They're not stopping people. They're not getting sacks. They're not getting interceptions, turnovers, or whatever. But now you really get put in a situation where these boys about to break the scoreboard on you.
So in your mind, then, part of the offensive philosophy, they want to score. They're trying to do what they can, but you think part of the philosophy right now, against certain opponents anyway, is to try to shorten the game.
I would. I mean, I would try to make sure that somehow we're trying to win time of possession. You know what I mean? Because at least then the ball is in our hand and we're in control of how this thing is going through, you know, momentum, slowing this thing down, whatever. You know what I mean? And hopefully we could find something. We got to get the running game going. I think that we definitely got to get the running game going to be able to help that situation, because if you get people having to come up now to stop the running game, now you're able to throw past people and get open areas to be able to do stuff. You know, then you back them out and you go back to running the ball again. Now Doty can run the ball. The running back's got a little bit more hole space, you know what I mean, to be able to get open and stuff. Tight ends able to move around a little bit more. So, I mean, you got to figure out that balance to where both of them can be used, but understanding that, hey, bro, don't get out here and get pass happy, because then you mess around and go 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out. And now you look around and then these cats got the ball for 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes, bro. You're going to be getting, you know, scores dropped on you left and right just because the people tired.
Brandon Bennett, the former Gamecock and Cincinnati Bengals running back, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show. I'm Dan Scott, sitting in all week for Rob. I always qualify when I try to get into analysis. I'm not a coach. I certainly did not play at the collegiate level or the NFL level for sure, and I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But I have been around long enough to have picked up a thing or two simply by accident. My question is this: when you have an offense that is struggling, whether it's just in a game, a one-time thing, or if it is a season-long thing, why don't we see more teams pick the tempo up? And whether it's for an entire game or whether it's just for a series or two, to try to catch the defense off guard, get a personnel grouping in there that is more favorable to you, and to try to take some of the momentum, try to gain a little bit of rhythm by going into the hurry-up offense. I mean, we see a lot of teams who move at that kind of tempo as a matter of course. Right. That's what they do. South Carolina is not one of those. Why not? Right. Why not pick up the tempo a little bit? It sounds simple. Tell me if is it simple to do that?
Well, you know, you hit it on the head at the beginning. Personnel. How quickly can these guys get it? How quickly can they get the call and understand what to do? Can they make a play or whatever? Because I'm a big proponent of that. I'm a very big proponent of that. You know, because I look at things and I say, like at the Coastal game. I'm at the Coastal game the other day, and they're playing UMass, and when they in Buffalo, when they play Buffalo too. I'm like, you look at these teams and they're big teams, right? Coastal is a smaller team, and they're athletic and they move around. I'm like, why not go huddle? No huddle. UConn's down there, and it is UMass down there, and it's 85, 90 degrees. They on turf, so it's probably 100 degrees on the turf. You know, they coming from from UMass, from Massachusetts. Why not speed that thing up? Get them tired. You know, get those big boys moving around a little bit or whatever. So now you wear them out in the first quarter. You know, so I'm a big proponent of that. You know, but I guess we go back to the same thing: is that can those guys can they get to what they need to do quick? Do they understand and talent level? You know, do they need to interchange a whole lot? It's more to it, I think, than just starting it up and going fast. You got to understand, can these guys do what needs to be done in the mix of going fast? Because if not, we're going to be in the same situation now, giving these guys the ball back real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, giving it to them with 3 quick incomplete passes that take maybe 15 seconds off the clock instead of maybe 2.5 minutes. No, exactly. I get you. We're visiting with Brandon Bennett, the former Gamecock and Bengals running back, and you speak from experience because you played collegially in an offense that was pretty good about doing some of these things we're talking about, controlling the clock. You could run it, you could throw it with Tannehill and those guys. Then you went into the league with Cincinnati at a point in time when they couldn't have scored sometimes if they were a sailor on leaving Amsterdam. Yep. The offense really, really struggled during your time there. So you've kind of seen both ends of this, haven't you?
Exactly. Yes, definitely. You know, I've seen the 1-9 times in Cincinnati to where we're sitting here and I'm just like, shoot, bro, just, watch the clock. Just let the play clock go all the way down. You know what I mean? Because if Pittsburgh get this ball, the Patriots get this ball one more time, Baltimore get this ball one more time, dude, it's going to get ugly. You know what I mean? And you're looking at the defensive guys over there, and I'm like, bro, we done went 3 and out 7 times, man. And we only got 2 first downs this whole half. So, you get in those situations, man, whereas, like I said, you got to look and you got to say, can we do this? If I look at my personnel and I look at their personnel, can my guy beat this guy? And can he beat him consistently? Can he get open? And then can we turn around and run these plays? And some of that has to be too with the offensive coordinator, him feeling comfortable enough to be able to do it and be able to get plays which aren't going to take a lot of time to get set up for these kids to be able to, run, no huddle and different things like that. In Cincinnati, sometimes, we got to whereas, we got to a point where with Chad Johnson, TJ Houshmandzadeh, that we were able to, and Peter Warwick in space, we were able to do 2-minute offense. So sometimes we go out there and just run a series of just straight 2-minute off. The whole time was just like that. It was just no huddle, hand signals. We run and do it or whatever because we had a group of kids that could do it. But, it was all about matchups too, depending on where we were playing at, who we were going against, and the type of defense they were running.
So before we wrap it up here, then what can Shane Beamer do? I mean, we're talking 4 games into his first season, so there's a tremendous rebuilding project ahead of him there. I think everybody understands that, but at the same time, and fan again is short for fanatic. There's already a bunch of complaining about the offense. What can he do to try to get this offense a little more successful so the defense is not on the field 40 minutes a game?
I mean, you know what? I think when it gets to situations and times like this, I think you almost have to really make it a competition throughout through all the positions and try to see who the heck can we count on, who the heck can we do. And, you don't want to go back, back in the day, when we were playing, it was, okay, hey, you know what? We're going to have middle drill and we're going to see who the heck can play, who's going to stand up and do what they need to do. College now and pros, they've kind of gone away from the extreme hitting or whatever, but I think he has to be creative to be able to come up with ways to be able to get those guys to get out there and play and try to find who's going to be the leaders, who are the ones that we're going to be able to count on. You know what I mean? And then you're going to have to build a plan around that type deal. Not just saying, okay, hey, we're going to go 4 wides and we're going to go 5 wides and we're going to do this and slang that thing because that's what we used to do. You got to find an offense and find players that are going to fit exactly what you're trying to do.
How many times were you the center guy in that ring and got hit 50 or 60 times in practice?
You know what? It's funny because when Brad Scott came there, whatever, everything started all over. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And man, me and him did not see eye to eye at first because he was like, that's what he did. He came in and he was like, look, I need some ballers and I need to know who was going to play. You know, so man, we came in there and we looked at the depth chart one day and I was like 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. So I'm going in with the seconds and thirds against the number 1 squad. You know, but that didn't last long because I was banging their head out. I was like, okay, I'm going to make y'all pay. You know what I mean? So I had a different mentality like, oh, I'm over here with y'all and y'all think it's funny. Okay, we'll see who's laughing in about an hour when we walk into this locker room when y'all banged up.
Yeah, I hear you. Old basketball coach is a dear friend of mine, Jim Davis, had a great saying. He said, there's no greater motivator than the bench on which I sit. So, yep, you got it. Hey, Brandon, thank you, man. It was good stuff again. Great to catch up with you.
Anytime, man. You know, anytime you need me, just holler.
All right, we'll do it. That is Brandon Bennett, the former Gamecock and Cincinnati Bengals running back. Got to get caught up on some things here. A break, a quick segment, another break, and another quick segment to the top of the hour. Dan Scott in for Rob Brown. Don't go away.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
All right, you have 5 minutes. I'll be back.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. NBA announcing players who don't follow local vaccination mandates won't be paid for missed games this season. New York and San Francisco currently have a vaccine requirement impacting the Nets, Knicks, and Warriors. Mandate only affects home teams, not unvaccinated players on visiting teams. Golden State's Andrew Wiggins and Brooklyn's Kyrie Irving believe not to be vaccinated yet. Knicks have said their entire organization, including players, are fully vaccinated. NFL Ravens activated first-round pick receiver Rashad Bateman from IR. Receiver Miles Boykin also activated from injured reserve. Starting outside linebacker Justin Houston. Nose tackle Brandon Williams activated off the COVID list. Buccaneers receiver Scotty Miller, toe injury on IR, so he's out at least 3 games. The Buccaneers signed veteran cornerback Richard Sherman to a 1-year deal, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
With the help of Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond, I get everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. That's how I set the rhythm for a great day. Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
A deeper connection with water can change your life, and that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Moen, fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
At Progressive, we're making things
30
even
seconds.
easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Join the Rob Brown Lockdown on Twitter. Tweet at The Rob Brown Show on the Upstate Sports Leader, ESPN Upstate.
All right, back at it. Hour number one, heading down that slippery slope. Thanks to Brandon Bennett for joining us. Coming up, top of the next hour, Larry Williams, Tiger Illustrated. We'll talk about another team that is really struggling offensively, the Clemson Tigers. Larry covers them as a beat writer for TigerIllustrated.com. Third hour, Greenville Drive GM Eric Jarenko and Charlie Cobb, the athletic director at Georgia State University, who is on the college football playoff selection committee. Tomorrow on the show, former big league catcher and now the head baseball coach at North Greenville University, Landon Powell, will be with us. Really excited about this. Ivan Mizell, national college football writer, who has written a book about the passing of his son. You talk about bearing your soul and using a tragedy to help other people. That book will be available towards the end of October. Ivan Mizell will join us, and Furman University Athletic Director Jason Donnelly will join us as well. That is tomorrow on the show. On the text line, it would figure that we did get a lot of stuff going with the barbecue talk. We have one that says, Dan, as long as no more bad food takes, you got my vote. Lonzo, this may have been directed at you. The question, Mo isn't the smart stooge. Missouri, we definitely use barbecue as a verb. To barbecue meaning bust out the grill. Barbecue is food, whether we grill out or cook out. Another one says, eat what you want with whatever you want on it. Pulled pork barbecue will heal all wounds. Someone just booed. And there was one, question 3 of the week. Is this something else you guys have been on? If pineapple goes on pizza, and do I like television wrestling?
All right, so the pineapple on pizza, that's not a common thing. It shows up every once in a while. I am curious, though. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
I actually do. I don't often order it that way, but there are times that I do. I do like the taste of grilled pineapple, or in this case, I guess, baked pineapple.
So you have something in common with Rob and I.
That you like pineapple on your pizza?
That we like pineapple on our pizza, yes.
Yeah, I mean, a little Polynesian twist every once in a while. That's not bad. The TV wrestling thing, I guess I have to give what I would call a qualified answer. Right now, no. Absolutely not. Don't watch it. Don't care to watch it. Wouldn't watch it if you paid me to. Years ago, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Kind of came to maturity, so to speak, in the 1980s, and grew up watching Georgia Championship Wrestling with Gordon Soley from the Omni in Atlanta every Friday night and Saturday morning. And so would watch there, and even into the early part of the 2000s, watched it some, but I don't watch it now. I am more apt to go back and watch old Ric Flair clips or old Dusty Rhodes clips, those guys on YouTube, than I am to even think about watching something on television now.
So what made you go away from wrestling?
I grew up. I just like everything else. I think
now you have put yourself on the other side. So yeah. Okay.
No, honestly, I just think for my taste, it's gone too far over the top. I mean, you always knew that it was entertainment, but it was still fun to a certain degree. I just, some of the things they do now, I just not my taste. I don't like it. So, but I love the character of Ric Flair when he was at his peak, styling and profiling. Dusty Rhodes, all of those guys, the Macho Man Randy Savage. I can get a guy on here that used to do my show with me named Cobb Oxford. We could talk wrestling, and we could talk wrestling for 3 hours, but it would be old time wrestling. It wouldn't be now. So,
well, at least there was a time when you were with us. So that means if you were with us at one point, maybe you could be brought back.
Maybe I could be brought back into the fold. I don't know. We'll see if that happens or not. So I'm trying to answer all the questions that are somewhat prevalent to Rob and his show, that to ingratiate myself into your audience. I don't know if I'm doing a good job with it or not. I'm just trying to be honest. But yeah, I do like pineapple on the pizza. I really, really do. Let's take a break. We'll come back and get you set up for hour number 2. Also picked up something very interesting from the ESPN Sports Update during the last break that we may get into, involving the NBA and vaccinations. All that ahead. Stay with us.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
From the 106.3 WORD Weather Center, here's the Upstate's most trusted forecast on ESPN Upstate. Mostly sunny this afternoon, a high around 87. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 64. Thursday, sunshine, high of 86, and Friday, sunny, high around 83. Saturday, sunny, high of 86, and Sunday, slight chance for rain, late, a high of 85. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 84.
Iron Eagle here from Westwood One with a preview of Thursday Night Football. From Cincinnati, Mike Golick and I will have the call when last year's top draft pick, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, play host to this year's top pick, Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can the Jaguars claim their first win, or will the Bengals start the year 3-1? Join us to find out on Thursday Night Football.
Tomorrow night at 8, the NFL plays here on ESPN Upstate.
Wonderful product. I've lost 111 pounds using that product. 111 pounds. You could not believe the difference. I went from a size 48 pant to a 33 pant, and I've maintained that now for over almost a year now. Yeah,
I have listened to him do radio. I can't say for certain if he's the one who's doing it, but I think so. Generally, the guy who does the promo is the guy who does the play-by-play.
Testimony and 111 good reasons to choose Andro 400. The most effective and natural way to lose belly fat, increase libido, gain energy, strength, and muscle while safely boosting your testosterone levels. So guys, how many reasons do you need for trying Andro 400? Well, here are 2 more great reasons. Order now and get free shipping plus an additional $6 off.
Well, you are the expert at that, so I will defer to you.
Call 888-400-0435.
I find it hard to listen to radio in a lot of ways because I hear mistakes and I can't take it. So
400.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save, think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped below 3%, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big. You could lower your monthly payment and prepare yourself for a better
listened for the first
future.
time in a while on my way home Saturday night,
Call us today
and
at
it had been a few years since I had heard any of the broadcasters. Almost always on the air when they're playing or something like that.
Do
So
you need a new roof or think you do?
it's gotten
I'd like to talk to you.
considerably worse
My
since
name
the
is
last
Paul
time I
Campbell, and
listened
I've
to
been
it.
fixing and replacing roofs in the Upstate for over 15 years. If you have questions about the condition of your roof or possible storm damage, call me and I will personally come out and check your roof.
I don't really have a problem with Homer Radio when you're there broadcasting, but I didn't think they could get more Homer. And I'm a Gamecock fan, so
find me at rooferpaul.com. That's rooferpaul.com.
Hey, it's ESPN Upstate's Mark Ryan. Join me at Ingles Markets this and every Thursday from 3 to 7 with a special live edition of Offsides with Mark Ryan. This Thursday will
Todd
be
Ellis seems to have gotten angrier and is offended as if there's a bad call or something is directed at him. I've noticed that.
The Paladins are back in action against the Wofford Terriers. Saturday, October 9th. Pre-game at noon, kickoff at 1:30. Every play, every game on ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg. And on the Odyssey app.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Don't miss your chance to experience South Carolina's #1 haunted house.
But some would say that you were kind of biased towards Clemson, and so that would, make their.
That's madworldattractions.com.
I know. You did for a while.
You really know about the long-term.
Again, I'm not accusing. I'm just saying that
COVID-19 vaccines. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider to make the decision that's right for you. Visit getvaccineanswers.org for more. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Burns Rebels play on ESPN Upstate.
This Friday night, the Rebels return to action as they host the Spartanburg Vikings.
See, what I do is I just put my biases out there right away, so there's no doubt that I don't like this school. I do like this school, so
Prescription products.
And once you say that, even if you say something nice about the school. I got frustrated for a while because, and Russ Castle told me, he's like, you've built a character, you've let them know who you are. They're only going to hear, when you say something about Clemson, they're only going to hear something bad. It's like, so don't get frustrated about it, just go with it. Like, okay.
Hims took care of it. Fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever. Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate.
Gotcha.
The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to forhims.com/joy to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to forhims.com/joy.
Yeah, I got you. I get that. 30 seconds.
This report is sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery.
Luckily, I can be an equal opportunity offender.
$570 million. Be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See sceducationlottery.com for jackpot odds and a store near you.
We're trophy hosts. Trophy winning hosts. Named the best sports talk show in South Carolina. The Star Award-winning Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN Upstate.
We are winding down hour number 1. And Lonzo, you and I have never had this conversation, but I believe I can say with confidence that you will agree with me, because I say this all the time, whether it's in a talk show setting or whether sometimes it's during a game broadcast, that the best conversations, the best comments, the most entertaining remarks are usually made during the commercials.
Oh, without a doubt, because there are some things you can't say on the air.
Yeah. And I don't want to lead anybody down the path that I'm using bad language or disparaging people. That's not what I'm talking about. We just had a conversation about some things in pertaining to the world of sports that I don't know that we'll get into or not. However, it's fun one way or the other. I will say this. I was listening to the promo during there that Ian Eagle did, and which leads me to believe that he is doing the radio call on ESPN for the Thursday night football game tomorrow night between the Bengals and Jaguars in Cincinnati. And it sparked the question that I asked Lonzo, and then we went down the road that I don't know that we want to get on the air. We're at least certain parts of the conversation. But I will say this, and not having heard Ian Eagle do radio, I qualify that by saying I have not heard him do radio. I've heard him do television, and I think he does fabulous work on TV. But I do have an issue in large part with TV guys who do radio, because I don't think they do radio play-by-play well. if they've never done radio before getting into television. If TV's all they've known, and I'll have an example of that maybe in the next hour after we visit with Larry Williams. But if TV is all they've known and then they get put onto radio like ESPN likes to do, the broadcast suffers. And again, I qualify. I've never heard Ian Eagle do radio, so I don't know about him particularly. But I'm painting with a broad brush right now. Hour number 2 coming up after the break. Larry Williams will join us at the top. We'll talk Clemson offense. Stay with us.
ESPN Upstate, WYRD Greenville, WORD Spartanburg, W249TL Greenville, W246CV Spartanburg, WFBC FM HD3.
An Odyssey station.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, powered by The Score. Atlanta Braves baseball, huge win yesterday. They knock off the Phillies by a 2-1 score. Charlie Morton throwing 7 scoreless innings. He gave up singles to the first 2 hitters that he faced, and then he only gave up 1 more after that, allowing 3 hits with 10 strikeouts and 2 walks in his 7 innings. He goes to 14-6. Jorge Soler hit a 2-run single, which accounted for both runs that the Braves score. And with that, they now have a 3.5-game lead over the Phillies as the magic number continues to go down and down. It is sitting at 3. Series does continue tonight. Max Fried against Aaron Nola, the pitching matchup. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Larry standing by.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us here on the show. You obviously watched and were involved in what baseball went through last year to pull off that season within the heat of the pandemic. Are you at all surprised with the way
looked it up because I was
negotiations
curious.
between
Ian Eagle started out in radio.
owners and the Players Association went?
I'm not surprised. I mean,
He
and I'm not
was at
surprised,
Syracuse
not
and
from
started
the
out doing
standpoint
stuff
of
for
in the
that
offer,
radio
but,
station,
you know,
and he
most
also worked
negotiations are
for
built on trust,
WFAN.
And clearly, these two sides have none of it when it pertains
Yep.
to each other. You understand where both sides are coming from, but it still yet wasn't a surprise that it kind of took some teeth pulling and really sides not really agreeing before we got to this point.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob
You're not the
Brown
first
Show
I've heard
weekdays
with that
noon to
bias.
3
So.
on ESPN Upstate. Keep up to date with every Upstate high school football game in real time with the ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Set up a profile, create your feed, and follow your favorite teams. Know when the big plays happen and when the games go final. The ESPN Upstate
Yes,
score
that would be a
stream.
different promo.
Get all the high school football scores in one place at ESPNUpstate.com. Warning.
And check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Who represents being real? Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown!
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
Hour number 2, Wednesday edition of the Rob Brown Show. I am Dan Scott, Director of Broadcasting, play-by-play voice of Furman University. Filling in for Rob all this week. I will be interested, Lonzo, to hear his report on his game at Fenway, because I have been there, and also his tour of the flagship in Bristol, Connecticut. And you said he drove by the WWE offices?
Yeah, not quite sure if he went in there. I don't think he did. He would have sent pictures. But yes, he's doing the full thing all around there. So he's doing a lot of bucket list items for himself.
Yeah. Going to Fenway, if you're a baseball fan at all, Fenway is a place that you have to go to. And I'm fortunate enough to have been there. So I'm happy for him to be interested to hear what he has to say about it. Going to the celebrity guest line here as we begin hour number 2. This guy and I go back about 2 decades, and I guess that means both of us are getting a little older than maybe we thought we would be 2 decades ago. But Larry Williams is the very fine beat writer covering Clemson for TigerIllustrated.com, also has his own podcast, which is very popular. And he's joining us here to catch up on some old times and talk some Clemson football. L-Dub, how are you, pal?
What's up, Dan? Glad to hear your voice, man.
It has been a while, at least under these circumstances. It seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe the last time we were around, we were wondering whether Dabo Swinney was going to keep his job.
Imagine that. And you'll be interested to know, along those same lines, I had a guy that I know you're very familiar with on the show yesterday, and he has not lost anything off his fastball at all. Billy Davis was with me yesterday.
Oh, wow, yeah. He's always a great guest. In fact, I just hit him up this morning asking him if he was ready for another round on my podcast. So, yeah, always entertaining and high impact conversation with old Billy for sure.
No question. All right, let's jump right into it. And he and I talked about this a bit yesterday. You're there on a daily basis. And anybody who knows anything about college football had to know that the offense at Clemson was going to take a little step back when you lose Trevor Lawrence, when you lose Travis Etienne, and some losses on the offensive line. You just, with especially those two generational type players, you're going to take some kind of step back. Did anybody see how far back they were going to step through 4 games?
No way. I mean, I think that even the people inside that football building, they go into what they know is going to be an absolutely tough and difficult matchup against Georgia, knowing that they have issues on the offensive line and they're just going to have to try to get by in that game. And so there was no illusion about that task. However, I don't think they saw themselves not reaching the end zone in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you go to the Georgia Tech game, and I think they're thinking, okay, we can sort of continue growing these guys up and maybe try to build some depth on the offensive line and have a better result. Nobody envisioned scoring 14 points in that game. And so I think you could carry it into the most recent result. And it's, I just, nobody in his right mind thought that they go to Raleigh and have, have to have 40 plays in regulation. That is just crazy. And 10 first downs. And aside from 2 touchdown drives, just a succession of 3 and outs. But I do think they are, while none of this was really expected to this degree, I think they are pretty realistic in recognizing that they have some real problems. And, while I think the nature of people on the outside nowadays and whatever we're dissecting or debating is to take an issue and to find one thing or one person to blame for it. I think this issue is I think there are closer to 10 culprits than one. But I do believe that the biggest is the offensive line. And that's been an issue in recent years. It was last year. And, the hope that they'd be better this year based on more depth and more rotations, that has not materialized at all. And so they're worse than they were last year on the offensive line, at least to this point. And that's a surprise. I don't think anybody expected that.
Talk to Dave Glenn, who has covered the ACC for 30 years. Just an incredible guy in the sports media business in the Carolinas. A couple of weeks ago, and his assessment was he laid 50% of the blame at the feet of the quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, and 50% elsewhere, offensive line, problems at receiver, whatever else. Do you agree with his doling out of the blame for the offense?
I don't know if I would put it at 50 on the quarterback. Certainly a significant portion on DJ. He just does not look like. I think the most surprising thing about him this year is you go into the season thinking, hey man, this guy's got a hell of a body of work, a 2-game body of work from last year. The lights are not going to be too bright for him. He was not perfect in those 2 games, but man, he was really, really good. And his fundamentals and mechanics have been shaky. He hasn't run when he should have run, things like that. But I put more of it on blocking and not just the blocking of the offensive line. I think the blocking on the outside has not been good either by the receivers and the tight ends. And so, when you have people saying, why aren't they running outside more? Or why aren't they running more jet sweeps and screens and such? Well, it's kind of hard to do that when you have defensive backs plowing through your receivers at the line of scrimmage when they're supposed to be blocking. And so, I think Oklahoma is a really good comparison right now because their offense is struggling and they have a really good, highly regarded quarterback in Spencer Rattler. But their offensive line can't block and they can't run the ball. And so when you can't run the ball, particularly against defensive fronts that are playing 3-3-5, they're basically sitting back in coverage and saying, we're going to take away the big play. We're going to make you execute down the field. If you cannot run the ball against run-friendly sort of defensive fronts numerically, you're going to have a lot of problems sort of cascading down as a result of that. And so I don't strongly disagree with David Glenn. I think he's generally right. I don't know if I would put it at 50-50 because I think if Clemson could just run the ball, then DJ would look a lot better, even if he wouldn't be perfect per se.
Well, then it begs the question for a team that's won 2 national championships since 2016. They've won how many ACC championships in a row? 6, 7, whatever the number is. How does it get itself into a situation where it's having these types of problems on the offensive line?
Well, I think the obvious answers would be recruiting and development, and then attrition. They've had some attrition and injuries and such over the last couple of years, and even currently, their anticipated depth is being sort of hamstrung a little bit by the fact they've had some injuries. But I think even at their best, at Clemson's best in recent years, meaning 2016 and 2018, I mean, it's not like those offensive lines were just mauling everybody. They were probably, I don't know, I think it's fair to say middle of the road, fairly solid, but not great. Thinking back to the 18 championship, they didn't blow Alabama off the ball in that game. They just they were able to weather their pass rush and give Trevor Lawrence just enough time to get those lasers off down the field to Justin Ross and T. Higgins. And then thinking to 2016, Deshaun Watson was just freaking Superman. That's all there is to it. He got battered in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not saying the offensive line was bad in that game at all. They were good. They were really good against one of the best college defenses I've ever seen. But I'm just making the point that it's not like they've had this massive plummet on the offensive line where they've gone from being great to bad. I think they've gone from being above average to bad. But anyway, I do think, Dan, that moving forward, they are in position to be a lot better on the offensive line late this year, next year, year after that. Their recruiting has improved. It absolutely has over the last 2 or 3 years. The stature of the offensive linemen that they're getting now is better. They have more guys who just look like offensive linemen are supposed to look. Marcus Tate is in that category. Of course, he started the first 3 games at left guard, but just it wasn't fair to throw him into that situation because he's a first-year freshman, Dietrich Pennington is another one of those who looks like an offensive lineman the way they're supposed to look. They have been stoked about him, but he tore his ACL against South Carolina State. That is not to say that Pennington or Tate should be contributing now or that if not for them, they'd be doing better. I'm talking more, longer term, later this year into next year. So I think sort of in the distant future, we could be looking at Clemson's offensive line and complimenting them a lot more than we are right now. But the problem is right now. And how are they going to sort of pull their way out of this muck on offense? I tend to think it's going to be more of a gradual thing than some magical turnaround where all of a sudden everything clicks and then they don't look back. I just don't really see that happen.
Visiting with Larry Williams from TigerIllustrated.com, who has covered Clemson for a long time, and for my money is the best on that beat. And I have said that publicly, I've said that privately, and I'm not blowing smoke up his proverbial
Thank
skirt.
You,
I read that just like you wrote it. Was that okay? Hey,
except for the skirt.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the skirt part, right? A kilt. There we go. Hey, Dabo has been almost militant in his defense of offensive coordinator Tony Elliott, and I get a kick out of fans. I can remember being back there right before they turned the corner when I was still working at Clemson, and the fans have to have somebody to pick on. One individual has to be the problem, and I can remember when it was Joey Batson, the strength coach, and I know you remember that, which was the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life. Right now, that problem in the eyes of many fans is Tony Elliott. Dabo has been militant in his defense of Tony Elliott. What's your stance on the play calling? What's your stance on the way Dabo has defended Tony Elliott?
Well, as far as the play calling, I do think there have been some head scratching things. I went into the Georgia game thinking, okay, they're going to have DJ's legs to win this game, and so I figured they were going to unleash him as a runner and make that a focal part of their offensive approach. Well, it turns out it wasn't. I mean, at halftime, Kirk Herbstreit's sitting there saying the same thing I was, and it was, why aren't they using DJ as a runner more in this game? And they did some in the second half, but I don't think enough. I also think, against Georgia Tech, never throw the ball deep, and they say, well, it's because Georgia Tech's playing cloud coverage, so you're not going to throw the ball into coverage. Well, sometimes, I remember in recent years, over the years, I guess, the coach is saying, sometimes you have to throw deep regardless of what they do, just so they know you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I think there are certainly some fair questions, some fair criticisms. Of course, not being able to go under center against Georgia Tech when all you have to do is fall forward, and the game is over. Yeah. A very valid criticism and a reason for concern. That said, again, I put the blocking or lack thereof at the top of the list. And I go back to that Oklahoma example. Lincoln Riley, known as a whiz kid play caller, he don't look so good when they don't have any blocking. They're scoring 17 points or 16, whatever it was, against West Virginia, 23 against Nebraska. And so there's a lot that you cannot do when your offensive line is not blocking and you can't run the ball. As far as the militant defense, I think Dabo is always gonna stick up for his guys during a season, regardless of whether it's players or coaches or whoever. I think Dabo knows that they have some issues that are going to have to be addressed. And before we go any further, just don't misunderstand. I am not saying that he's going to get rid of Tony Elliott. That is not my point here. But back in 2010, if you can recall, there's a lot of heat on Billy Napier during that year.
Mm-hmm.
And to the best of my recollections, I'm pretty sure Dabo was glowing in his praise of Billy Napier through that season. And I think the purpose of that is you want to keep everybody together, right? You're trying to win games. And it was, 30 minutes after that season ended against South Florida in the Meineke Car Care Bowl when Dabo said, yeah, I'm going to make changes. And sure enough, he did. Billy Napier's out. Chad Morris is in. Again, that is not to say that I think Dabo is going to get rid of Tony Elliott as offensive coordinator. It is to say I would be surprised if there weren't some changes after this season, because I do think Dabo, he is not, it's not all kumbaya inside of those walls. I guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
When he's praising his players and coaches in public, I promise you, behind those closed doors, there's some scrutiny happening.
Right.
He does not like where they are right now. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, I think it's a great answer. Let me ask you this before we wrap it up in just another minute or so. The backup quarterback whose name I can't pronounce.
Tyson Pumachan, TP.
Okay, Pumachan. Made seemingly a miraculous recovery from, what was it, the Achilles?
Yep, Achilles tendon.
Part of the reason they won't run DJ, do you think it's possible because they're not real comfortable with how healthy he really is? And the reason I bring that up is because here at Furman, we went through that during the spring season with our starting quarterback. We had walk-ons behind him. Running the quarterback is a big part of the offense, but our coaches would not run the quarterback because they had nobody behind him. Is there any of that hesitancy, you think, because, yeah, he's made a miraculous recovery, but are they confident that he could handle the job full-time if it came to it?
I thought coming into the season that, yes, they're going to use DJ's legs against Georgia, or games that, where they have to sort of struggle to win, or against, evenly matched opponents, which in the ACC, in general, that's not very many games.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, okay, they're going to run him against Georgia, and then as the season progresses, be pretty judicious with using him, because again, theory being they're going to have a lot of these games well in hand, like they always have the last 6 years. Well, lo and behold, that ain't happening. So I don't know. I think the descriptions that the coaches have given about Pumachan making a pretty miraculous recovery, and I think that's largely true. I like what I have seen from him. In fact, I would argue against South Carolina State that Pumachan looked more comfortable back there than DJ did. So I would guess that the reason they're not running DJ more is probably because their offense is so pared down right now to sort of its most basic levels because of the blocking, and also because DJ, he's having trouble sort of comprehending some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, but I would, they ran him some against NC State, and I actually before y'all called, I'm sitting here watching a couple of the plays in overtime where they did a little quarterback draw, and it was there, if not for one or two guys missing their blocks. Mm-hmm. And so, and of course he had the 37-yard run in the fourth quarter that set up a touchdown. So I think this offense right now, you have to have, if you have a mobile quarterback, regardless of the health of the guy behind him, or regardless of how good the guy behind him is, if you got a quarterback who can run it, you need to use that as much as you can, because they're just not good enough right now to leave anything on the shelf.
Good stuff, as always, from Larry Williams, Tiger Illustrated. Tell people how they can follow more of your coverage, what you do on a daily basis, Larry.
Well, the Twitter feed is at Larry Williams TI. The podcast, which is weekly, is the Clemson Dubcast. And then, of course, the website that puts food on my table is TigerIllustrated.com. And right now, getting started on some video review that we do every week that we release every Thursday. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, Paul Strelo, another ace. He's our recruiting guy who does a tremendous job. Always keeps our subscribers plugged in with all the recruiting intel that you could ever ask for.
Good stuff. Hey, man, it's been great to catch up with you again. Really miss talking to you.
You too, Dan. Hope all's well with you.
All right.
Take care.
That is Larry Williams from TigerIllustrated.com. All right, to break we go. As seems to be the case here, we got to play catch up a little bit when we come back. So you've heard Brandon Bennett on the South Carolina offense. You've heard Larry Williams on the Clemson offense. What's your take on it? Hop on the phones, hit the text line. Let's talk about it the rest of this hour. Back in a moment.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
Let me tell you how to save some money while also losing weight. I know a little something about it because I used to weigh 394 pounds, and I was on some serious medications, and you might be too, whether it's type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, CPAP machine, gout medication, any of those things, what if you didn't have to pay for them anymore? Now, I know maybe you got good insurance, but you're still coming out of pocket for your copay. What if you didn't? What if you could put that money back in your pocket? Let me tell you how. It's called the Health Dare. With the Health Dare, you are going to reverse the symptoms of all those things that I mentioned. And when you reverse those symptoms, for one thing, you're going to feel good because you're not going to be dealing with the pain that comes along with a lot of that stuff. And you're going to be able to sleep at night without hearing that CPAP sound. It's horrible. And here's what you do. You lose weight in 30 days, guaranteed, with the Health Dare. And when you lose that weight, you lose the need for all those medications and something. Here's another way you can save money with the Health Dare. Buy one, get one free. You can bring in a buddy from work, bring in a relative, bring in a spouse. You pay half, they pay half. You guys both get the program. You're both going to get healthy from a cellular level. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. You have the energy to face the day. You're not going to be hungry. You're going to lose the weight with the Health Dare. Here's how you get started. Go to idareme.com. Fill out some information, and one of the Health Dare coaches will bring you in for a free consultation, get you on the way to losing that weight. And don't forget, buy one, get one free. Go to idareme.com today. And when you're there, make sure you tell them that Lonzo dared you.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, powered by The Score. Carolina Panthers football placing safety Justin Burris on IR. That means he is going to miss at least the next 3 weeks. He suffered a groin injury in the win against the Texans this past weekend. In a corresponding move, the team has signed center Sam Tecklenburg to the 53-man roster. The 3-0 Panthers match up against the Cowboys coming up on Sunday. Clemson football wide receiver Justin Ross has been added to the watch list for the Mayo Clinic Comeback Player of the Year award following surgery and a year of recovery. This year, he is leading the team with 22 receptions, 3 touchdowns through 4 games. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
The Burns Rebels play on ESPN Upstate.
This Friday night, the Rebels return to action as they host the Spartanburg Vikings to begin region play. It's Spartanburg at Burns Friday night on ESPN Upstate.
Powered by your local Ingalls Market.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays.
Well, the Greenville Triumph has been awarded a women's soccer team, and they are trying to find a name for the team. And we did a poll of names and entered it for our part of it while they're trying to figure it out. I am unaware if they picked a name yet.
Get a quality candidate within the first day.
But I don't have my finger on that pulse. That would be Rob Brown.
You can try ZipRecruiter for free. It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Okay.
Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Been there many times.
Got a question for you. Do you know a strike from a split? Well, sounds like you're perfect for the Stone Man Bad Bowlers Club. Hey, it's the Stone Man, and for the next 8 weeks, every Thursday night, we're going to be hitting the lanes. Or
calluses get really hard after a while, and you can handle those bumps.
Bring your team or just bring yourself, and don't worry if you're not that good. It's called the Bad Bowlers Club for a reason. Come join us. Get on over to ClassicRock1011.com/bowl right now. That's ClassicRock1011.com/bowl to sign up. The Stone Man Bad Bowlers Club, only at Spare Time Entertainment on Congaree Road, sponsored by Michelob Ultra.
This feature sponsored by Indeed. Hiring for an open job.
They all should be 5 minutes, but some of them
Indeed is
seem
the
to be a little
hiring
bit longer.
platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com.
The next break should be 5 minutes, but that just depends on whether whether the Sports Center gets recorded or not. Sometimes they don't get
That's
recorded.
where the new Stitch Fix freestyle comes in. Listen, we've all probably let our own personal style fall off a bit for over a year.
Well, you're going to have at least 3.5 minutes, so you're good.
Allows you to discover and instantly buy clothing and accessories based specifically on your style preferences and fit. So get those new looks for any occasion today. Head to StitchFix.com to get started.
The fall is a beautiful time of year for sports. The start of the football season, baseball playoffs, basketball, hockey just around the corner. With a safe return of live events, that means you can actually be there to see all the action with Vivid Seats. Whether it's in the upper deck or on the 50-yard line, Vivid Seats has you covered. And with Vivid Seats rewards, you can earn free tickets from your very first purchase. Just buy, collect stamps, and redeem. It's that easy. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Text us anytime at 71307. Use keyword ESPN followed by your comment. Local sports talk on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Hour number 2 continuing. Dan Scott in for Rob Brown again this week. Follow me on Twitter at Dan Scott Show. And we're streaming video live on my Facebook page, on my Twitter handle, and also on my YouTube page. So a lot of ways for you to watch. And of course, you've got all of the recording podcast options at ESPNUpstate.com. And Alonzo doing his wonderful job of keeping me in line. All right, I got a question here, Alonzo, that I have no idea about how to answer, so I'm going to throw it in your lap because as the host, that's what you do to the producer, right? It's from the text line, and it says, "Hey, guys, any news about the women's soccer team name?" And then here's the more concerning part of the text. "I got hit by a tractor trailer and have been in ICU." So first of all, whoever you are, God bless you. I hope you're okay and feeling better. And then, Lonzo, you can take the rest of it.
Yeah, that's I echo the prayers and everything, dude, or ma'am. I hope you're okay. Well, here's the latest. The latest is we don't know because, for one thing, Rob is on vacation and Rob is closely tied with that. They do have the names. They're still working on it. And I wish I could say, yes, here's the name. But as far as I know, that hasn't been decided yet.
Okay, so in other words, the answer is we don't have an answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, see, I could have done that because I literally don't know.
But at least I am aware of what they're talking about.
And you still don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But it's I think it's more a matter of they haven't said what it is yet.
Right.
And, if Rob were here, Rob could know, but wouldn't be able to say because they haven't announced it yet.
Right.
So it's one of those things.
Okay. The numbers, 844-GSP-ESPN. That's 844-477-3776. And the text line, keyword ESPN to 71307, 71307. You have heard from Brandon Bennett, the former Gamecock running back, former Bengals running back, spent 10 years in the league, talking about the problems with the South Carolina offense and what, if anything, can be done to fix it at this juncture. And you just heard in the last segment, Larry Williams from TigerIllustrated.com speaking on Clemson's offensive issues and largely putting it on the offensive line, maybe a little more of a percentage on the offensive line than on the quarterback. So your thoughts? You want to hit us up on the phones or via the text line? We'd love to hear from you. Rest of this hour, in fact, will be open phones. In the next hour, Eric Jarinko, general manager of the Greenville Drive, and Charlie Cobb, the athletic director at Georgia State University, who is on the college football playoff selection committee. He will be one of the decision makers at the table. So we'll have a nice conversation with him about being part of that process as well. And being part of the process from a non-Power 5 standpoint. By the way, I don't know if anybody has paid attention to what is going on down at Georgia State, and by and large, I tend to ignore most of what happens in the city of Atlanta because I'm just not a fan of the city. But because Furman played Georgia State in week 2, I think it was, of 2019. and very nearly won that football game. I kind of keep a little bit of an eye on what's going on with the Panther program and the fact that my color commentator, David Cobb, his twin brother, Charlie, is the athletic director down there. Number one, they are playing in what used to be Turner Field, where the Braves played for all those years after the Olympics. And the broadcast booth for visiting radio is actually in the former Braves television broadcast booth. So you've got that for what it's worth. The problem with that is that broadcast booth's in the corner of the end zone. I mean, literally the back corner of the end zone, Lonzo. So when you're calling the game, instead of looking at it and the action is going left to right or right to left, it is either going away from you or coming toward you. So it was a very disconcerting view to get a handle on in the early portion of that ball game. But they've got some pretty good stuff going down there. They are breaking ground and maybe have already broken ground on a new multi-million-dollar basketball facility. They're going to build a new baseball facility kind of on the imprint of that same area down there. Just keep an eye on that program in the years moving forward, because it is a program, and I'm not saying in the next year or even the next 2 or 3 years, but down the road a bit, that's a program that could be poised to jump out of a Sun Belt conference and into a larger conference and be able to do so with some pretty good success. I mean, basically, they're playing basketball right now on the top floor of an office building. That's where their gym is. And you remember the run they made deep into the NCAA tournament, just a handful of years ago. So they get a new basketball facility, multi-million-dollar basketball facility to go with what they've done with the former Turner Field and the way they've turned that into a really, really nice football facility. And the fact that they're in Atlanta, they're a public university, they have just oodles and oodles of students. And so a lot of tuition money coming in, a lot of state money coming in. That's a university. In my mind, they're poised to be the next UCF. University of Central Florida has long been on the cusp of jumping from, kind of that middle range of the mid-majors. You know what they've done in the last 4 or 5 years in football and undefeated season and all that stuff. Well, they're now going to jump into a bigger conference in a couple of years. They're part of that realignment that the AAC is doing after they got robbed by what will be the new Big 12. I think Georgia State is going to be a program that's going to be kind of next in line to be that type of program that's going to make a pretty significant jump. So just something to watch for if you are into watching for such things. Let's take a break, and we'll come back. I want to get back on that conversation we had a little earlier about private schools, universities now getting protection from the National Labor Relations Board. And then also, we're going to find out just how basketball stars like Kyrie Irving, how willing are they to stick to their principles? And I'll tell you what I mean by that when we come back.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, the NBA announced players who don't follow local vaccination mandates won't be paid for missed games this season. New York and San Francisco currently have a vaccine requirement that would prevent unvaccinated players from entering arenas, impacting the Nets, Knicks, and Warriors. Mandate only affects home teams, not unvaccinated players on visiting teams. Golden State's Andrew Wiggins and Brooklyn's Kyrie Irving believed not to be yet vaccinated. The Knicks have said Their entire organization, including players, are fully vaccinated. NFL veteran cornerback Richard Sherman signing with the Buccaneers, a 1-year deal according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Ravens activated receiver Rashad Bateman, their first-round pick this year, off injured reserve. He had groin surgery last month. Baltimore getting help on defense, too, activating starting outside linebacker Justin Houston and nose tackle Brandon Williams from the reserve COVID-19 list.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
If you're 18 years or older, use marijuana regularly, and are interested in cutting down, you may qualify for a research study at Behavioral Health Services of Pickens County. This study is testing an investigational medication to help cut down the use of marijuana. Evaluation and procedures are free of charge. Compensation up to $1,210 is provided. Strictly confidential. If you're interested, call 864-898-2992 or find us at facebook.com/BHS Research DEPT. Sponsored by MUSC.
Enjoy the sounds of summer from Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. Cannonball! Enjoy the taste of summer too, with amazing hand-tossed pies, cool, crisp salads, and over 100 beers from around the world. Mellow Mushroom, on Augusta Street in Greenville's West End.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out?
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-770-2727. 800-770-2727. That's 800-770-2727.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
Your life, your hopes, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m.
1 minute.
It's really none of our business, and it shouldn't be anyone else's. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
New FanDuel fantasy players. Your day is about to get 20% better. Start playing fantasy this football season, and FanDuel will give you a 20% bonus on your first deposit, up to $500. That's a big-time bonus, and all you need to do to claim it is make your first deposit. If you've never tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to jump in. You'll love playing fantasy football on FanDuel. Not only is it easy to start, but you can set new lineups every game day, keeping the action fresh all season long. There are many types of game formats to choose from, and you can even play private contests with your friends. There's an awesome slate of games on hand this week and every week. So what are you waiting for? Get in on all the excitement and experience season-long wins without the season-long waits. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/play to claim your bonus and start playing today. That's FanDuel.com/play. Age and location restrictions apply. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires after 30 days.
He's not messing around. Real, unfiltered sports talk on the Rob Brown Show. ESPN Upstate.
Dan Scott in for Rob Brown, continuing here on this Wednesday. Tomorrow, again, former big league catcher Landon Powell, one of a very, very small number of big league catchers who have caught a perfect game. He'll be with us. Ivan Mizell, National College Football writer, will be here. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit of football, but mostly about the new book that he's written that comes out towards the end of October about the passing of his son and taking a tragedy and turning it into a way to help others. And then, I was born at night, Lonzo, but not last night. I get a 3-hour platform 5 days a week. One of those segments and one of those days, my boss is going to come on, Jason Donnelly, the athletic director here at Furman University.
I'm surprised you haven't had him on, each day, but
today's Donnelly moments. No, his trust me, his time is a lot more valuable than mine. So we worked this out in advance. He'll be with us during the final hour.
Yeah, my boss comes down the hall and he grabs a mic. I'm just not turning them on. So yeah.
And then the next day he might not be your boss anymore.
Probably not.
So you have to pick your battles. Yeah.
I was just trying to see if I could get him to come down here. That's all.
Let's see. On the text line, Dan, would you ever dress in all purple, i.e. hat, shirt? Well, I'm not wearing it today, but when I'm on campus and when I'm working for Furman, I usually do wear a purple Furman shirt. I very rarely wear a hat anymore, and I definitely don't wear purple pants. So I wear too much purple, I get mistaken for Barney the dinosaur. So, but I do wear a purple shirt on most days with the
that was a direct crack on Rob Brown.
Was it?
That's what that was.
Okay, well that's fine. I don't know these things. I'm going into a lot of these questions with a certain amount of naivete.
Rob has a very matching closet, so
We'll see. What bothers me is that you know that.
Well, I work with him every day, and I haven't actually been in his closet, but I'm it's an educated guess. When the glasses and the hat and the shirt and everything is all coordinated,
okay,
you would think you have multiples of those things.
I got you. I see what you're saying. Okay. Now, I am a sports writer and a broadcaster over my entire working career. So most of my clothing comes, especially in the broadcast realm, comes from things that have been issued to me by the school. So I save a lot of money that way.
Ain't nothing wrong with freebies.
No, not at all. Dan, will Tampa Bay cover this Sunday? Don't care. I don't gamble. So don't look to me for advice about point spreads and those kind of things. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. The text line 71307. Use keyword ESPN there. And I'm not being flip to that person who texted that. I just don't gamble. I have never had, nor do I now have money to lose. So I've never been involved in gambling as a Christian. I don't think it's something I should do anyway. But even if I was inclined to do it, I don't have any money to lose. So I don't do, pick at your own risk. Don't ask me for advice because I don't know. Don't pay attention to that stuff. All I care about is if the teams that I root for win by at least 1 point. If they score one more point than the others, I'm good. All right, there was this story, and you've heard it maybe in the last couple of sports flashes during the breaks. We are going to find out, Lonzo, not just in the NBA, but this is an NBA story, but I think in a lot of other places, we're going to find out exactly how deeply certain players are willing to stand on their principles. And vaccination against COVID-19 has been a huge, one of many dividing lines in this country. But now it's getting to the point where it's going to start costing people money. In fact, if you've been watching the news, it has already started costing people money because I think it was United Airlines just fired 600 employees, which is about 1% of their workforce. A major hospital system in one state laid off or fired like 160 employees, which I find very interesting that you're firing healthcare workers in the midst of all this mess. But that's another story for another station, which I'm sure that you've heard discussed ad nauseum. But the states of New York, or the cities of New York and San Francisco, have COVID mandates, vaccine mandates. And if you are a resident and work in those cities right now, you are required to get the shot or you can't work. Well, that is going to impact, among others, Andrew Wiggins of the Golden State Warriors, who is in the Oakland/San Francisco area, and Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets, neither of whom are vaccinated, neither of whom say they're going to get vaccinated. Now, the NBA has said that any games that non-vaccinated players miss because of those protocols in their home areas, they will not get paid for those games. You don't play, you're not getting paid. It seems like a simple concept, but we know in the world of collective bargaining agreements and unions and things like that, it's not always as simple as black and white. But the NBA has said, if you don't play, you're not going to get paid. Now, the intriguing thing about this is it only goes for the home teams. If Wiggins and Golden State go into New York, he goes in as an unvaccinated player. He can play there as an unvaccinated player because he's not a resident, or it doesn't work. His employment is not in that city. But at home in Oakland/San Francisco in the Bay Area, he couldn't play and would not get paid because he doesn't have the vaccination. So now you're talking about guys who are going to stand to miss half of their monstrous salaries, millions and millions of dollars. So we are about to find out how the Kyrie Irvings of the world and the Andrew Wiggins of the world really feel about their principles. Now, I qualify that by saying this. I have been vaccinated. I believe that people should get vaccinated. I am not in favor of forcing people to get vaccinated. But I think there is enough evidence out there that shows that if you get vaccinated, you're going to stand a much better chance, even if there's a breakthrough case in this thing. I work around college athletes on a daily basis. Had to make that decision. Furman University does not require me to be vaccinated, but if I don't get vaccinated, there's a separate set of rules that I have to abide by when I'm here on campus and around coaches and athletes. That's a personal decision I made. Again, I believe people should. I am not in favor of forcing the vaccination on people. Andrew Wiggins, Kyrie Irving, and these are just two examples, make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. We tend to look at athletes like this and forget that they are human beings. We forget that they have, in many cases, the same type of reservations about things that we do. Neither one of them are vaccinated. They say they don't want to take the vaccination. They say they're not going to take the vaccination. Will they continue to say that now that they stand to lose half their paycheck? That's what we're going to find out a whole lot about both of those guys coming up. We've got to get to break, and then we'll come back with just a very short period of time until we get to hour number 3. Dan Scott in for Rob Brown. Don't go away.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
From the 106.3 WORD Weather Center, here's the Upstate's most trusted forecast on ESPN Upstate.
I'm going to
mostly
the potty.
Sunny this afternoon, a high around
that.
87. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 64. Thursday, sunshine, high of 86, and Friday, sunny, high around 83. Saturday, sunny, high of 86, and Sunday, slight chance for rain, late, a high of 85. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vuchitsky on ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 85.
ESPN Upstate, your exclusive home for Major League Baseball.
Take me out to the ball game.
Play-by-play of the biggest games from Major League Baseball's best.
Toro strikes again. Way back it goes.
Including the playoffs and the World Series.
Fly ball deep to right. And you can kiss it goodbye.
This is is ESPN Upstate.
Game on.
Listen to Kelvin. What he's about to say could change your life.
I'm 6'2", and I was about 290, and I lost weight fast. I trimmed down. Now I'm about 235. I'm probably at about 9, maybe 10% body fat. That's great. I lost probably at least 60 pounds in probably 3.5, 4 months. Color of my hair is coming back. Skin looks better. Obviously gaining muscle. My muscle mass is coming back. Thank you for providing an awesome product. Somebody who actually has and does what they say they will. That's awesome.
That's great, Kelvin. Losing that belly fat in less than 4 months is outstanding. Since 2004, Andro 400 has been changing men's lives, like Kelvin, and can help you lose belly fat, gain energy, and improve your lifestyle. We guarantee it. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information, appraisal, and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 33.
Hey, it's ESPN Upstate's Mark Ryan. Join me at Ingles Markets this and every Thursday from 3 to 7 with a special live edition of Offsides with Mark Ryan. This Thursday will be at 2212 Poinsett Highway in Greenville. Brought to you by Ingles Markets on ESPN Upstate.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
You know your closet well, but what does it sound like? Yes, your closet. Does it whisper your taste? Does it scream your taste? The new Stitch Fix Freestyle, your personalized store, gets to know your unique style and fit. Its selection transforms to show you only the looks and trends you'll love. With a store that evolves alongside your taste, your closet will scream, "So you," without actually screaming. Introducing Stitch Fix Freestyle for women and men, your personalized store. We're so you.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
The 1947 Notre Dame Fighting Irish entered the season with quarterback Johnny Lujack, the Heisman favorite, and an offensive line considered one of the greatest in college football. The talented Irish squad didn't disappoint. They went on to an undefeated season and won the national championship after defeating unbeaten and third-ranked USC 38-7. 46 players went on to play in the NFL.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Recruiting is what separates you from the rest of the field. It's true in college football and even truer in business. LinkedIn Jobs is here to help your small business find the candidates worth interviewing faster. And it's free. Create a free job post in minutes to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of 770 million people. Every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn. You could have your star talent in place this fall. Post a job for free at linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Looking for a holiday job or seasonal work? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Visit ExpressPros.com to find your local office and let them help you find a job. No fees for job seekers. ExpressPros.com.
Dispensing real, unfiltered sports talk every weekday noon to 3. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
One of the ways that you can do the least amount of damage is leave yourself the least amount of time to do big damage. And we've only got just about a minute or so before we have to go right back to break to the top of the hour. Got kind of rolling on some things there. And that's the way it goes from time to time. And, I'm still, after not doing this for a long time, getting back into the swing of following a clock. But your boss, who gave me the opportunity to do this, Lonzo, hasn't come yelling and screaming down the hallway yet. So I guess all is well.
Yeah, I'll be the one to get in trouble for it. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, well,
I got it.
You're a great buffer. You're a great buffer. Eric Jarinko, general manager of the Greenville Drive, will be with us when we come back from the break and talk about the glorious minor league season that was a 2021 campaign, the fact that we got to play baseball in Greenville and what that meant for the city and the franchise. And then Charlie Cobb, athletic director at Georgia State.
10 seconds.
He'll be with us to talk the college football playoff selection committee. All that ahead. Top of the hour break right now, though. Don't go away.
ESPN Upstate, WYRD Greenville, WORD Spartanburg, WFBC FM HD3.
An Odyssey station.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, powered by The Score. The starting lineup is set for Sunday's Yellowwood 500 as NASCAR runs at Talladega. They use the qualifying metric to set the lineup. Denny Hamlin is going to start from the pole. He's going to be joined in the front row by Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney in row 2, Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. in row 3, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano in row 4, Kevin Harvick and William Byron in row 5, and then Alex Bowman and Christopher Bell in row number 6. The non-playoff drivers are slotted in after that. 2 more races to go before the playoff field is dropped by 4. The 4 drivers below the cut line right now: William Byron, Kevin Harvick, Alex Bowman, and Christopher Bell. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
You have a filter turned on in the video setting.
Eric standing by.
You might want to...
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
It was a lawyer entered the Zoom chat and had on a facial filter that turned his face into a kitty cat. So here's this judge who is having a conversation about judgy lawyery stuff with a cat. And the best part is the lawyer insisting to the judge, Your Honor, I am not a cat.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I am not a kitty cat. Even though it may appear that I may be a kitty cat, I am actually a man.
If the glove don't fit, you meows the quit.
Really?
You're welcome.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show. Weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
Saturday on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA football. It's a heavyweight battle in the SEC as top-ranked Alabama hosts number 12 Ole Miss. Hi, this is TJ Reeves. Join Steve Berline and me for all the action as Bryce Young and the Tide look to remain perfect on the season against Matt Corral and the Rebels. It's Alabama and Ole Miss. If it's college football, it's right here.
Saturday afternoon at 3:30. College football plays here on ESPN Upstate.
Warning.
Man, check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real.
Yeah. Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
Well, we've made it to the third hour of my third day of the week. I'm a big believer in alliterations like that. Dan Scott in for Rob Brown. Lonzo on the controls. Forgive me, I'm just texting a guest that I just secured for Friday. A good one. Of course, I think they're all good. But you know how it goes. I guess it really depends on what the listeners think. But I'm doing my best to try to my philosophy has always been, it's one thing for me to sit here and rattle my chains for a while and talk about things. But isn't it so much better if you bring in people who know more, who've actually, as the old saying goes, been there and done that? Guys who've played the game, guys who've coached the game. I think it helps my credibility, and I'm all about helping my credibility. Anyway, that guy that I'm talking about that I just confirmed, former Clemson baseball player and longtime major leaguer Jeff Baker, is going to join us on Friday's show, heading into the final weekend of the regular season with some playoff baseball spots on the line. And Jeff's going to join us to talk some playoff baseball. Looking forward to that. Been a long time since I've caught up with Bake. It's not been quite so long since I talked to this guy. And but I miss him already because he is a guy who, when you think general manager of a professional sports franchise, you get this image of guys in a suit and tie sitting behind a desk making all these big moves. You don't think of a guy serving food. You don't think of a guy pulling the tarp. You don't think of a guy putting out fires, literal and figuratively, at the ballpark. But that's exactly what Eric Jarinko does. When you're the GM of a minor league baseball franchise, you do it all, and he does it all spectacularly. Eric joins us here on the show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Dan. How are you?
I am well. With that type of introduction, I'm hoping that will lead to discussion about an invitation to come back and do the broadcast again next year. So
you are always welcome back. You and Tom do a great job. I do love how you kicked off this segment by announcing such a great guest on Friday. Jeff Baker, such a great guy. And then also talked about your guest enhancing your credibility and then going into a segment with me. I don't think I enhance your credibility at all.
Listen, you sign one of the paychecks that I get as a freelancer, so I'm going to say whatever I have to say to keep those checks coming, okay?
All right.
No, we have fun. And I will say this, and Alonzo, you might be in jeopardy because if Eric ever decides to get out of the general manager game in minor league baseball, he has a future in broadcast guest procurement. Because you can't get any higher in the Red Sox organization than Chaim Bloom, the guy who runs the show. We had him on our broadcasts live in the booth this season, along with many, many other of the Red Sox brass. Made us sound a lot better than we really are. And we like that, Eric, by the way.
That was all done strategically. I know we've got to negotiate your contract for next season. So when you say things like they make you look better than you are, that's negotiating.
I just shot my bargaining chip in the foot, didn't I?
Yeah.
Hey, we've talked about this before. I thought it would be good to do it on a much wider audience here on ESPN Upstate on the Rob Brown Show, hosted by yours truly, Dan Scott. The fact that going into the calendar year of 2021, we didn't know if there would be a minor league baseball season. And to get all 60 scheduled games in, plus a part of another one because of a game having to be completed that was started in Nashville, to get it in under the circumstances we did and to see the crowds come back, how great was that?
It was unbelievable. I mean, the last 24 months have just been an absolute emotional roller coaster for our staff. Start kicking off with 2020 being completely canceled. And then, as you said, going into 2021, knowing there was going to be a season, but I mean, we didn't get the schedule till a month before the season. So we had to react and plan quickly. We didn't know, how long mask mandates or capacity restrictions were going to be in place. And I mean, the support we just had from the community this year and our fan base was unbelievable because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we hold ourselves to a very high standard when it comes to the experience that we want fans to have when they come to the ballpark. And just, having a whole year off with no 2020 season and losing staff members and just having to react very quickly, we stubbed our toe along the way. But I mean, I think hopefully from a fan perspective, they didn't notice that as much. And they were so supportive this year, coming back out. in a year where we finally had baseball again. It was unbelievable. I mean, I think if you would have asked me in February or March, a month before the season started, when did I think we would get back to 100% capacity for the 2021 season, I would have said, you know what, I don't think we're going to play at all in 2021 with 100% capacity. I think we're going to start out at 50% and gradually move up. But I mean, June 15th, about halfway through the season, we were allowed to go back to 100% capacity. And I mean, things felt normal around Fluor Field, and that was just amazing to see.
Even in the days when we were at around 50% capacity, and I say around that because, well, we'll just kind of leave that where it is. but opening day, when there were maybe 2,500 people there, just the buzz, and Tom and I talked about this on the broadcast, and having done basketball where we traveled and we're doing games in empty arenas in November, December of 20 and into 2021, and spring football where you have a 16,000 seat stadium here at Furman and there might have been 1,200 people here. Just to have in that intimate setting at Fluor Field, 2,500 people created a buzz in the ballpark that we just missed, and it sounds so good on the broadcast. And then to see the crowds, as you said, grow, and we ended up with a couple of crowds over 6,000, and everybody seemed to really enjoy being back.
Yeah, it was. We've had a great relationship with the Red Sox for 16 years now. Obviously, the players love playing in Greenville because of the beautiful downtown, the beautiful ballpark, but the fans and the support the fans give them. I mean, it's easy for a player to get up and be excited to come to the ballpark and play when you've got a minimum of 2,500 people in the ballpark. And there's some ballparks around the country that on their best nights don't even get 2,500 people in the ballpark. And that's a slow night for us. So, again, it was just amazing to see the fan support again. Just the comments from fans of saying how glad they were to be back, to see the smiles on faces. Because, I mean, I've been with this organization for 16 years now, and members of our season ticket holder base, our sponsors, I mean, they kind of become like a second family. And we went a whole year without seeing those people. So it was incredible to have them back.
Visiting with Eric Jarinko, general manager of the Greenville Drive, here on the show. When we started the season, just to kind of give people an idea of how things advanced, we did a nightly interview with manager Iggy Suarez. We started those on Zoom. Then we got to go down into the dugout to talk, but wearing a mask. Then we got to shed the mask. Then we got to go into Iggy's office and do them as things progressed. And that's the kind of year it was, kind of baby steps moving forward. What logistically, Eric, where you said you stubbed your toe some and fans probably didn't notice. What were some of the challenges that you and your staff had behind the scenes that fans may not have noticed? What did it take to pull off this season that fans may not have noticed?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue we faced early on, it got better in June and July, but then it kind of reverted back in August, was just overall staffing from just the availability of folks, from our ushers, our food and beverage employees. I mean, early on in the season, folks were a little hesitant to come back to work just yet with restrictions that were in place, the vaccine and uncertainties there and things like that. And it got better later on in the summer, but then when the Delta variant, came out towards late August, early September, I mean, there was some hesitance from staff there. And that's where, you kind of alluded to it at the beginning of tarp pulls and delivering food. I mean, it's minor league baseball is all hands on deck. It doesn't matter what your title is. I mean, you've got to jump in and help wherever. And we started off that way. A lot of our front office staff was doing the in-seat food delivery. I think during the first 6 games of the season, a lot of us helped every single night on that. And I think I looked down at my Apple Watch at one point. It said for the first 6 games, I was averaging close to 40,000 steps per game. And I was like, if we keep up this pace, I'm either going to be 110 pounds or dead by mid-June. because it was not a sustainable pace, and we got better at it. But those are some things that we didn't plan for, because we didn't know that was, the extent that it was going to happen. And just the logistical challenges we had, because early on we weren't, no one from front office was allowed really in the clubhouse to be around the players.
Mm-hmm.
And those are relationships we developed with them early on, because in a normal year, we like having those guys involved in fan meet and greets, going around the community, helping us with our Reading All-Stars programs. And all of that was put on hold this year. I mean, the guys couldn't do any community appearances. Luckily, later in the season, they were allowed to interact with the fans in the ballpark and sign autographs. But some of that stuff just, hopefully 2022 is back 100% back to normal.
Visiting with Greenville Drive GM Eric Jarinko about pulling off a successful 2021 minor league season in the midst of all the madness going on with COVID. And ironically, Eric, the one thing that did not cost us any games this year either was rain. Every game was played on the day it was supposed to be played.
Yeah.
Well, except for one early. Yeah. We had to play a doubleheader the first homestand.
Yeah, the season got off to a very auspicious start. I mean, we canceled opening day, or we postponed opening day because of the rain and cold weather we had all on May 4th. And then the very first night, when we finally played that opening day game on Wednesday, May 5th, we had a scare with the visiting team on some players testing positive for COVID. And I was like, oh my, is this going to be the next 119 days of this? Because this is going to be brutal. And, it got better. We had one other scare with a visiting team towards the end of the year where they had, I think, 5 or 6 guys test positive, but none of it ever affected our guys. In any other year, heading into 2020, our biggest concern was always weather. And all of a sudden that was like the least of our concerns heading into this season. And thankfully, I think we joked about it in the office a couple of times, like everything we went through in 2020, Mother Nature better just be very kind to us. And I think for the most part, she was.
Let me ask you this before we wrap up. The one constant, one of many constants with this franchise since this ballpark opened is that you're always doing things to enhance the fan experience. Every year, seemingly, there's something new at the ballpark. Anybody who came down there this year saw what was being built on the other side of Field Street, right out the back door, if you will, of Fluor Field at the west end. What is on the horizon? What's the next new thing that's coming as far as what the ballpark is going to look like, fan experience? How is what's happening on Field Street going to tie into that? What does the future hold?
It's a really exciting time for us. We're breaking ground here in the next couple of weeks on the enhancements to Field Street. It's projected to open up and be ready by opening day of 2022. If you've ever been up to Fenway Park, the experience starts before you even get inside the ballpark, out on Jersey Street with food vendors, food trucks, merchandise, music performers, things like that. And that's where we are growing the fan experiences by creating, a sports and entertainment district right outside the ballpark here in downtown Greenville. And it's called District 356. The 356 is Shoeless Joe Jackson's lifetime batting average. It'll be a seamless plaza from the ballpark to the new apartment complex that's going in right across from the ballpark. And that's aptly named 408 Jackson, which is 408 is Joe Jackson's rookie batting average, which is still a major league record today. So that's a really cool thing. Really the fan experience starting before you even get to the ballpark or get into the ballpark. And that'll have a component on non-game days as well. And then it sets the stage for some other enhancements that we have coming down the line prior to the 2023 season, which are more facility standards for the players and the locker rooms and stuff like that. But because of some of the expansion we have to do there, it'll provide some more fan amenities as well.
Plus, as you told us, as we wrapped up our final broadcast of the year after the staff took a couple of weeks off between that next week and the opening of the 2022 season, what'd you say, 100 events planned at Fluor Field, non-baseball events?
Yeah, we just got out of a meeting where we were talking just the October event schedule, and there's 31 days in October. We have 35 events at the ballpark.
That's my kind of math, baby.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're not all, to the level of a baseball game. They're not all to the level of a concert or things like that. Some of them are, corporate luncheons and things like that, but a lot of fundraiser events. I mean, that's what's always been key to our success too, is the ballpark is used for more than just baseball. So it's been a lot of fun, we kind of took the week off after the season ended to kind of recharge the batteries. But to be honest with you, I mean, this, not many people I'm a Clemson alum and I'm originally from Philadelphia, and Clemson football is not doing well right now. The Phillies are about to blow, making the playoffs. The Eagles or whatever they're putting out on the field right now. And Ben Simmons never wants to play for the Sixers again. So I'm ready to talk drive baseball and get that season rolling again and turn my focus away from those sports.
I'm right there with you. As has been said many times, and a lot by Tom and I, a bad day at the ballpark is better than a good day at the office. So
absolutely,
Eric, thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
All right, that's Eric Jarinko, general manager of the Greenville Drive. When we come back, Charlie Cobb, athletic director at Georgia State. He is a member of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. What's that going to be about? We'll find out. Dan Scott in for Rob Brown. Back in a moment.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
I love Halloween. I know, but Rob, you said you hate to be scared. I know I do, but there's something I love about the psychological side of things, and that is why Mad World must be on your Halloween activities list. It is routinely voted the #1 haunted attraction in South Carolina, one of the top haunts around the United States, and one trip to Mad World, and you will see why. It is their most expansive haunt to date this year. Not only are there haunted houses, and not your grandma's haunted houses, these are terrifying, but they have got the haunted woods. They've got more scare sets, more actors, more props, more dynamic experiences than ever before. Do me a favor. Go to madworldattractions.com. Madworldattractions.com. Not only can you get a little background about what you're going to experience at Mad World, but you can get your tickets now. Don't wait until Halloween and stand in line. And trust me, there are lines because Mad World is awesome. Go to madworldattractions.com. Get your tickets now and check out the 2021 version of the scariest attraction in South Carolina. It's Mad World.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, powered by The Score. Atlanta Braves baseball, huge win yesterday. They knock off the Phillies by a 2-1 score. Charlie Morton throwing 7 scoreless innings. He gave up singles to the first 2 hitters that he faced, and then he only gave up 1 more after that, allowing 3 hits with 10 strikeouts and 2 walks in his 7 innings. He goes to 14-6. Jorge Soler hit a 2-run single, which accounted for both runs that the Braves score, and with that, they now have a 3.5 game lead over the Phillies as the magic number continues to go down and down. It is sitting at 3. Series does continue tonight. Max Fried against Aaron Nola, the pitching matchup. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
High school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the scores, discussion, interviews, and more on the Saturday Morning Scramble powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. There's the snap. It's a reverse. Quay Meadows, right side. Touchdown, Quay Meadows. It is a one-score game.
Saturday Morning Scramble. ESPN Upstate. Everywhere on the Odyssey app. Powered by Ingles Markets. Official grocery store of the Saturday Morning Scramble.
484848. You agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Freshly. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at freshly.com/terms.
It's the Great American Dinner Race in this kitchen.
Bob?
With one of those meal service plans that come with portioned ingredients you have to prepare.
Hey, where's the broccoli?
And in the other kitchen.
How's it going? Jackson.
With Freshly, chef-prepared and fully cooked meals delivered to your door.
I'll have Freshly's peppercorn steak, sautéed carrots, and French green beans.
He puts it in the microwave. Bob is still assembling his ingredients.
Celery's sort of floppy. Ugh.
Jackson's delicious Freshly meal is ready to eat.
Oh, so good.
And Bob's meal?
Forget it. I'm ordering meals from Freshly.
Freshly chefs cook nutritious meals from delicious whole food ingredients and deliver them right to your door. And right now, get $40 off your first 2 weeks when you text HUNGRY to 484848. Text HUNGRY to 484848 for $40 off. Text HUNGRY to 484848.
Save like a pro with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Loyalty Select account gives you the opportunity to grow your savings at our best rate yet. Fund your account through your favorite Loyalty Select product.
Charlie
to get
standing by.
saving today. Not a member yet? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Got a question for you. Do you know a strike from a split? Well, sounds like you're perfect for the Stone Man Bad Bowlers Club. Hey, it's the Stone Man, and for the next 8 weeks, every Thursday night, we're going to be hitting the lanes or the gutters over at Spare Time Entertainment on Congaree Road. Bring your team or just bring yourself, and don't worry if you're not that good. It's called the Bad Bowlers Club for a reason. Come join us. Get on over to ClassicRock1011.com/bowl right now. That's ClassicRock1011.com/bowl to sign up. The Stone Man Bad Bowlers Club, only at Spare Time Entertainment on Congaree Road, sponsored by Michelob Ultra.
Bouncer slowly toward Bryant. Hugh Glovin throw to Rizzo. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
5 years ago, the Chicago Cubs made a magical run to the World Series championship. Grown men cried. Strangers hugged each other. A 108-year curse was lifted.
1 minute.
The new podcast, The Run, relives the 2016 postseason game by game. All the drama on the field and off. Listen and follow The Run on the Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but they are rebooting. Well, they're not rebooting. Well, yeah, they're
We got
rebooting.
what you need to check it off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter, plus an STP air filter or cabin air filter, all for just $35.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free
Yeah,
same-day store pickup
I'm pretty
or
sure
next day
everybody
delivery.
else is dead. You're right.
Start your job
I'm
today
pretty
at
sure he's dead, yeah.
AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
You're in a race against time, and the
You know,
days
Marky
are
Post
getting
died
longer.
fairly recently, maybe last year or so.
This fall, choose professionally
Was it?
powerful
Okay.
Echo outdoor power equipment to tackle the toughest cleanup jobs. Echo blowers, chainsaws, and string trimmers deliver industry-leading power to handle the tallest tasks in the shortest time. And time is running out. Echo-USA.com to learn more and find an Echo dealer near you. Echo, power on and on.
Made for upstate sports junkies.
These pathetic junkies? Come on, look at them.
You eat sports like food every day. Get hooked on the Rob Brown Show, noon to 3 every weekday on ESPN Upstate.
Dan Scott in for Rob Brown as we continue. Be back with you tomorrow and Friday as well. We'll run through the guests that we have scheduled for then coming up in just a little bit. But right now we want to continue on the roll that we are on by going back to the celebrity guest line. I got to tell you, in 2019, Furman played at Georgia State, and I was walking through the bowels of the stadium when we got there to go up to the broadcast booth to start getting set up. And I'm walking with my color commentator, David Cobb. And as we're walking through the stadium, people in Georgia State regalia kept running up to David and asking questions about, hey, do we need to do this? Where should I go put this? What should I do here? And well, it's because that David looks an awful lot like our next guest. In fact, so much so that they literally are twin brothers. Charlie Cobb is the athletic director at Georgia State University. He's also a member of the college football playoff selection committee, and he has agreed to join us here on the show today. Charlie, how are you?
Hey, Dan, I'm doing great, but I need to correct one thing.
What's that?
David's about 20 pounds heavier, and he's got a beard, so we don't look a whole lot alike right now.
Well, okay, you used to look alike. Well, you know, I was going to ask you how you were able to get to your job that you're at now, the status you're at now, with the handicap that you had, the handicap being David.
Yeah. Sometimes in life you got to overcome adversity, right? That's
Yeah.
the beauty of athletics, you know. So it's good stuff. No, it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, to have somebody that thinks like you, and we spend a lot of time conversing back and forth about about work issues, life issues, family issues. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah,
don't know any other different.
And not knowing what your schedule was, I relied on him on short notice today to be the one to reach out to you because I didn't want to phone you and you're in the middle of some high pressure meeting or something. So I appreciate him facilitating the interview. Before we even get to the playoff committee thing, a couple of other things very quickly. Number one, Dick Sheridan into the College Football Hall of Fame. And you and Hunter Reed here at Furman had a lot to do with that. You played for Coach Sheridan. Just talk about why it was important for you to put together that effort to get him into the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think Coach has the most to do with his getting getting selected with his credentials. But at the end of the day, I was kind of curious and had a guy in one of our meetings present about the Hall of Fame, and I asked, "Hey, how do you nominate someone?" And Hunter and I worked on it, and we nominated Coach. And, by the rules of the College Football Hall of Fame, Coach is actually going in as an FCS nominee. Because of experience at Furman, but so the Furman experience, the NC State experience. Candidly, I'm fortunate to play for both he and I give a shout out to Robbie Caldwell as well. Just two awesome people, two awesome men. People I've always tried to admire how they handled their professional life and personal lives, and just a great testament to who he is and the job he did as a football coach. Very excited for him.
When you were playing for him at North Carolina State, did you have any inkling you would be doing what you're doing now?
It's interesting. I actually went to college to be an architect. I thought I was going to draw and build stadiums the rest of my life, and that was kind of my passion. But probably second, third year in college, I had the experience that I had as a football player was really kind of the defining moment for me to decide, hey, I'd like to do this the rest of my life. I didn't really think that I had the personality to be a coach, nor did I really want to kind of spend that time. But I thought this idea of merging business with athletics and with coaching, with sports, this athletic role, whatever it really was, it really intrigued me. And Coach, I think a lot of people don't realize, Coach was also the AD at Furman for a time when he was a football coach, and so he's been a mentor in a lot of different ways. But certainly. When I took the job at Appalachian years ago, I went and spent a couple of days with him just to say, okay, tell me, what's this job like, and what does a coach need in a good AD and things like that. So, and I always remember, he said, remember one thing: don't let a lack of facilities be the reason why you can't be successful. And I thought, I've used that many times over the 16 plus years I've been fortunate to be a college athletic director.
Well, and what I was going to say was you may not have gone into architecture and built stadiums, but in your job you have built athletic programs. What you did at Appalachian State obviously speaks for itself. And I said this before you got on here, and I want to throw this at you now with what is coming down the pike in your current job at Georgia State, with what you've done in the transformation of Turner Field into a football facility, the planned basketball facilities, and the other things. I said earlier that I think Georgia State could be the next program, and I kind of used Central Florida as an example of the way they have climbed the ladder and where they are going in this next round of expansion. I think Georgia State has the potential to be maybe that next UCF, that next quick, rapid rising program. No pressure or anything.
No, Candy, pressure means people care, right?
Right.
And it's certainly what you said is really what we use every day to kind of build this thing. I mean, sometimes this past weekend as an example, we've been playing football for 12 years and had a chance to do something pretty cool and came real close. And those are the moments and the opportunities that help build a program and help define who you are and what you're about. And the facilities are going to be great. The baseball project for a lot of folks, like I am, huge Atlanta Braves fans, remember when the Braves played in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, the Peach Bowl was in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, the Falcons played. It's a parking lot now adjacent to our current stadium, but our plans we're going to build a baseball stadium there, a softball facility, honor Hank Aaron in the process, and 715 home runs and the magical moments that the World Championship the Braves won was actually in that stadium, not in Turner Field. A lot of people forget that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just we've got the next thing in the next project, but eventually we got to get down to the fact of winning championships and kids in Atlanta looking at us as a first destination college for their experience, and then we're going to become UCF, because that's what UCF did. They built facilities, they had kids, hometown kids playing, created that identity, and started winning some games, and then lo and behold, look, people know, they know who UCF is.
Tom Van Hoy and I were down in Central Florida in 2008 to do a college baseball series, and that campus is like a movie set, and you could just sense then public university, largest university in Florida as far as the number of students, and you could just sense that was a school that was about to explode. I think the same thing is possible at Georgia State. You just kind of get the sense that things are about to happen there. We'll table that conversation for another time. I wanted to talk to you today about the college football playoff selection committee that you are on and what that experience is going to be like. First of all, how did you end up landing on the committee?
I think the coin landed heads, I believe, is how I got on it. But it's an incredible experience for someone who obviously loves the game. But they're essentially football people, athletic directors in particular, that are part of the committee. Each conference has representatives. As a rotation went to the Sun Belt, it was time for the Sun Belt to earn a slot. And Bill Hancock, who was the executive director of the playoff committee I've known for a while, and Bill called me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in serving?" And he didn't have to ask twice, and barely finished the sentence, because if you love the game, it's an incredible experience, and it's only been brief so far, but I certainly know over the next couple of weeks the amount of work and effort that's going to be involved is going to be incredible. But as I jokingly tell people, Sunday afternoon we all like to watch football, and to realize that I'm actually has a job responsibility, have to watch football, is not a bad thing. So and it makes for an exciting opportunity.
Charlie Cobb, athletic director at Georgia State, is on the college football playoff selection committee. So you said the work so far has been brief. Before we talk about what lies ahead, what have you done so far?
Yeah, we had an orientation maybe 2 months ago, and then 2 weeks ago we actually went through a mock selection process where we used the 2019 final game statistics, rankings, and went through the process of what selection weekend would look like as we get into December, just to get an experience. I'd been through that same process a couple of years earlier, so I was pretty familiar with it. And then right now what we're doing is we're all watching teams. So everybody's assigned certain leagues or teams to watch, but in general, watch the elite of college football. Because ultimately, when we start the 1st of November, and I actually like this idea, like we have no teams ranked, we have nobody selected, anything like that. And honestly, I don't pay attention to not only the preseason rankings, but also then the weekly rankings that come out. I got a sense of who's 1 and 2 because they're undefeated, but I couldn't tell you right now who's ranked number 3 because I intentionally don't pay attention to it. But we watch games and evaluate players, evaluate teams, evaluate how they're doing, do a lot of analysis with obviously the internet. I've got access to every game film, both offensive copies and defensive copies from the 50-yard line view and end zone view for every FBS team in the country for every game so far this year. And we get weekly updates, usually Saturday night, Sunday morning. And the idea is pick games and watch the TV copy or watch the coach's copy. I tend to watch the coach's copy because it usually takes you about an hour and a half to watch a game. But just to get a sense of the team and get a sense of how they play and go from there. And so it really just doing my own internal thought. Okay, who's who I think are the best teams, and then as we get into the first weekend that we actually meet, the first weekend in November, and then we'll meet every weekend for the rest of the football season up until the selection process. So about 6 straight weeks where we'll actually get together on Monday, Tuesday, and rank teams, and then announce here's what our rankings are on Tuesday. Gary Marta, the AD at Iowa, is the chair of our committee. Fantastic guy. He'll be the spokesman for the committee. The rest of us are kind of embargoed not to talk about things. And then we pick teams the first weekend in December. We pick the 4 teams that participate in the playoff. We also pick the other 8 teams that are involved in the New Year's Day bowl games. And then the bowls pick from our allotment based on how we rank teams. So just really fascinating. Just a fascinating experience and one that I'm looking forward to.
It's a unique concept, Charlie. picking teams based on actually watching games as opposed to what happens many times in the coaches poll and the media poll.
Yeah, and I remember, honestly, I kind of go back to, you'll understand this. Maybe some folks listening won't really understand what I'm saying, but a couple years at App before we made the transition to FBS, I was on the FCS playoff committee, and a lot of times, we're picking playoff teams, and we were picking teams and ranking teams to go through the selection process that none of us had the ability to watch. We were basing off of media reports or maybe results, but we, because the technology wasn't there like it is today, you didn't have the opportunity to watch teams play. And so, a Liberty team may have been an incredibly strong 10-0 team, but not having a chance to look at them, all you really had to use to evaluate them in this example was who they played and what their records were. And, so it's you saw a little bit of a bias towards the SoCon teams, I'm trying to remember the different leagues, the Colonial teams. North Dakota State hadn't quite gotten to the perch they are now. So I kind of have that experience in the back of my head and I think, okay, it's a very similar process, except now it's more data driven. We have access to an analytics firm. We have access to more data than you can imagine. Strength of schedule all the way down to, relative strength of schedule, relative offensive production efficiency. I mean, it's data overload in some respects, but it's fascinating. And so we can, on a screen, we can compare four teams and who won head to head. There's, it's an interesting dialogue because when we get down to comparing teams, there's really, certain factors that matter the most. Head to head wins, who won a conference championship, strength of schedule. So you kind of know who the pool of teams are, I think is really the easiest way to say it based on the mock selections that we did a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Trying to decide who's one, who's four. It's important because those are the four teams that play in the championship. Number 5 is going to feel like they should have been, 3 or 4 maybe, or even 2. But then, teams 13, 14, and 15 get left out of those New Year's Day bowls. They're probably going to think they should be 11 and 12. So we really got to kind of scrub it and pick who we think are the best teams, but also then be able to justify those selections beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Are you more of a data guy or more of an eye test guy?
It's interesting. I think I'm more of an eye test guy. Ask me that question in a couple of months because I think it's pretty simple to see. If Team A beat Team B, they're probably better than Team B. Maybe let's look and see how the rest of their season went. But I certainly think that you can look and see who teams are and how they play. Maybe I take a bias that even great teams have to win some games ugly, if that makes sense to you. You're not going to play your A game every week, so you're not going to dominate teams every week. So, the goal is to win any way you can, how you can. And so, teams that have successful winning, should take priority over teams that look really nice with gaudy stats and, that kind of thing. So it's, I kind of been asking myself, it's funny you asked that question because I've been asking myself that same question as I've gone through and evaluated and looked and, okay, does my eye match up to what the numbers based on as an example of, strength of schedule, do they really play a hard schedule or am I just, not really giving credit to that? So.
Well, I don't know how much you'll be able to talk in a couple of months, but you threw out the challenge. I'll ask you in a couple of months, and we'll see where we are on that. Charlie, we got to get to a break, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, dude.
All right, that is Charlie Cobb, athletic director at Georgia State, a member of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. To break we go. Phones, text for the final couple of short segments to close it out, and then Mark Ryan, Offsides with Mark Ryan, 3-7. Back in a moment.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The NBA announced players who don't follow vaccination mandates won't be paid for missed games this season. New York and San Francisco currently have a vaccine requirement that would prevent unvaccinated players from entering arenas, impacting the Nets, Knicks, and Warriors. The mandate only affects
I like
teams,
learning
not
how they're getting game film.
Teams.
I thought that was
College
pretty cool.
football, Georgia quarterback JT Daniels dealing with a lat muscle injury. He is expected to play in Saturday's top 10 showdown when the second-ranked Bulldogs face number 8 Arkansas. The National Labor Relations Board said in a memo that college football players and some other athletes in revenue-producing sports are employees of their schools. That would allow players at private universities to unionize and otherwise negotiate over their working conditions. No comment yet from the NCAA or reps for the 5 largest athletic conferences.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
Hey, this is Bill Donovan, General Manager at Breakaway Honda. If you ever thought a brand new Honda was beyond your budget, you owe it to yourself to spend a few minutes at Breakaway Honda. Our team is committed to getting you the lowest payment possible on a new Honda. As a matter of fact, many of our customers are getting new Hondas and lowering their current payment. Low payments and no hassle. I guess that's what makes us #1 year after year. We do what we say at Breakaway, 330 Woodruff Road or breakawayhonda.com.
At Ingalls, we're proud to partner with so many athletics organizations to bring you the very best of everything sports have to offer. And we're also proud to bring so many great game day options to you crazy fans out there, like the best meat in town, crisp, fresh produce, ice-cold beverages, and more. Whether you're loading up for that road trip or preparing for the homestand, we've got you covered. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon, the annual year-long event for saving big on home and auto insurance. These savings are available up until and straight through Labor Day, Halloween, Clover Cleveland's birthday, Taco Tuesday, the anniversary of the moon landing, White Chocolate Day. The sale literally never ends. You can come on Jupiter's Ascension, National Pisces Day, but not Leap Day. Just kidding. We're doing Leap Day because every day is perfect for saving money with a Home and Auto Bundle only at Progressive. But for real, we're not doing White Chocolate Day because white chocolate is gross. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is.
Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
A deeper connection with water can change your life, and that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Moen, fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
What if you could put the same type of rigor that the pro leagues use for players into the hiring process? With ZipRecruiter, you can. ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified candidates for your open roles and proactively presents them to you. And you can invite your top choices to apply for your job. No wonder 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/BART. That's ZipRecruiter.com/BART. It's a new season, everyone. No, not football season or the fall. It's the season to change up your stale wardrobe. And that's where the new Stitch Fix Freestyle comes in. Listen, we've all probably let our own personal style fall off a bit for over a year now. But Stitch Fix Freestyle is a highly personalized shopping experience that allows you to discover and instantly buy clothing and accessories based specifically on your style preferences and fit. So get those new looks for any occasion today. Head to StitchFix.com to get started.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. Named the best sports talk show in South Carolina. The Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN Upstate.
All right, we are back. Final couple of segments of the show. We'll do something that I wouldn't normally do, but when you got a little 3-year-old grandson who has been listening to your show and wondering if you're talking to him, I'm going to talk to him for just a second. Hey, Augie. That'll blow his mind, Lonzo.
I have a 3-year-old granddaughter, and whenever she sees me doing a Facebook Live broadcast or something, I have to say hi to her just so she'll stop wondering why I'm not talking to her.
Right.
So I completely get it.
Yeah, I understand. It's pretty good stuff. All right, the phone numbers for the final couple of segments. We're open phones the rest of the way. 844-GSP-ESPN. That's 844-477-3776. And the text line, keyword ESPN, to 71307. So did you learn anything from Charlie Cobb?
Yeah, the process and the fact that when they get the list of teams, there's no rankings on them. I think that's kind of cool. And they get choice of film, because if it were me, I'd be watching the coach's film also.
Yeah, because you can watch a 3.5-hour game in an hour and a half.
Which is what I do a lot on the weekend to catch up on some football when I have other job obligations. I just sit there and, if each team takes the full 40 seconds, you can hit that 30-second skip button. You can jump right through a game pretty quick.
Yeah, coaches have to do that. Again, I work with them closely here at Furman. If you want to get anything done when it comes to breaking down film and that type of thing, they have to cut them down that way. So I think that's what I would choose as well. But I just to hear how the process goes and all of the data that they have at their disposal when it comes to making decisions. And I hope that everybody approaches it like Charlie does, not paying really attention to the polls and not being swayed and not being biased by the preseason polls and the polls that are out there week to week that are great for fans and great for sports talk radio and the media and that type of thing. And I don't want them to go away, but I just love the fact that he said, I don't really pay attention to those. I'm going to go by what I see, what data that we're given, and make the decision that way and not have a bias or an influence before you even start the process.
Yeah, I hope that there aren't people on the committee that just look at all the stats and all that kind of stuff and don't actually watch the game. And because I think eye test really should be the most important thing.
Well, and I agree with you. I'm we got to go to break, I know, but just from a baseball standpoint, and I mentioned with Eric Drinko that we talked to Chaim Bloom, the chief baseball guy, head of the entire Boston Red Sox organization. And he's known as an analytics guy, but even he admitted that you still have to see the players play. And I'm not anti-analytics. I'm anti-analytics making every single decision. But I think you take everything that you have, every tool in the box to make the best decision possible, whether you're building a baseball franchise or whether you're voting on the college football playoff field. Do it all. Use everything that's there and just use it judiciously. All right, final break. Coming up, 3 o'clock. It is Offsides with Mark Ryan, and we'll set you up for tomorrow's show and a look ahead to Friday as well. Dan Scott in for Rob Brown, back in just a moment.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
I'll be back in a moment.
From the 106.3 WORD Weather Center, here's the Upstate's most trusted forecast on ESPN Upstate. Mostly sunny this afternoon, a high around 87. Tonight, mostly clear, low 64. Thursday, sunshine, high of 86, and Friday, sunny, high around 83. Saturday, sunny, high of 86, and Sunday, slight chance for rain, late, a high of 85. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vuchitsky on ESPN Upstate. Right now, 87.
Congratulations to this week's ESPN Upstate Player of the Week, Demarius Foster of the Dorman Cavaliers. Foster had 29 carries on Friday for 269 yards and scored 5 touchdowns as the Cavaliers defeated Ridgeview 42-20. Again, congratulations to this week's ESPN Upstate Player of the Week, Demarius Foster.
The ESPN Upstate High School Player of the Week. The gridiron coverage is at ESPNUpstate.com.
Well, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio, not ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Voted one of America's top haunts and #1 in South Carolina. Venture through the haunted house and trail full of elaborate sets, special effects, and top-notch actors. Play our creepy carnival games and escape rooms, or check out our brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Located in Piedmont off I-85, exit 35. Buy your tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com. ESPN Upstate is your home for Furman.
You will have about 2 minutes.
Back in action against the Wofford Terriers. Saturday, October 9th. Pre-game at noon. Kickoff at 1:30. Every play, every game. On ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg. And on the Odyssey app.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in discreet packaging.
Hims took care of it, fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever. Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/joy to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to 4hims.com/joy. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
It's been a great start to the NFL season, and it's only getting better at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. DraftKings is putting new customers in the center of the action with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Get in on the action now. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Feel the NFL action like never before with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best part is you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings app now and use code BART. This week, new customers can get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Enter code BART to get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with your first deposit. That's code BART, only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Looking for a holiday job or seasonal work? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Visit ExpressPros.com to find your local office and let them help you find a job. No fees for job seekers. ExpressPros.com.
More than the scores, the ups and downs, the ins and outs. Real, unfiltered sports talk. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Just a couple of minutes before we have to wrap it up and make way for Mark Ryan. Offsides with Mark Ryan coming up next, 3 to 7. I'm Dan Scott. It's been fun again today, filling in for Rob Brown. Tomorrow on the show, former Major League catcher and a guy who caught a perfect game, Landon Powell, will be on with us in hour number 1. Ivan Mizell, National College Football writer, at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. We're talking about his new book in which he has turned the unspeakable tragedy of losing a child into a way to try to help other people. Just, I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to this interview. My boss, Jason Donnelly, the AD here at Furman, also scheduled for tomorrow. On Friday, little baseball theme right now. Former big league pitcher Bob Kipper will be with us. And we mentioned earlier Jeff Baker, the former Clemson standout and also a longtime major leaguer. Talk some playoffs and the stretch run with a couple of spots still open. Also, we know we got some big college football games this weekend. We're working on some folks there to kind of help us navigate that and try to close out strong these final 2 days, filling in for Rob Brown. Look forward to being back with you tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed our guest lineup today of Brandon Bennett, Larry Williams, Eric Jarinko, and Charlie Cobb. Hope that you learned something you did not know when the day began. We'll be back with you tomorrow, same time, same place. And again, it's Offside with Mark Ryan coming up next after the top of the hour break. For Alonzo, I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you and so long, everybody.